And we are live.
What is up, people?
What is up, everyone? Tony Costa in the house in the front row.
What is up,
we got
Tony?
Cigar Man, Adam Wolf. Yeah, it looks like they just the same guys posted a bunch. All right, that's weird. We got guys in the room. Oh, Cigar Prop, far out. Kevin's
What's
in
up,
there.
Kevin?
I got to talk about. Kevin sent me a package that I got today, and I'm thinking of smoking one of the cigars from that package. It was pretty awesome. It was really awesome. It was that dude, man. So what are you planning on smoking tonight?
I got tonight the Liga Privada number 9.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. In a Toro size, in case you guys are wondering.
Now this is crazy. Let me. I'm gonna check the stats on my cigar real quick, guys. We have a very, very cool guest tonight. I knew it. I got this package today. They're dead on where I want them to be. I knew Kevin. He packaged them good. They were with the Boveda, and I know that his humidor is in good shape and stuff. So I knew these cigars would arrive in fine shape. So what are you pouring?
Don Pedro Grand Reserve Special.
Oh, nice.
It's a whiskey from Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so our guest is Denise Lugo, and some of you might know her from. She's in Patriarchal Smoke. She's in I Tap That. She's in the Smoking Lead Disciples room as Bella. I'll just say Bella because I don't know how to say the rest of it. She'll let us know. But I got to feel kind of flattered because I guess I was the first cigar reviewer that she saw when she's actually smoked for a little while, but she kind of started getting into it more and watching reviews. And I was the first, which is how it should be. And that way she knows that after me, there's a lot more to expect. But
I think she figured that out real quick.
Yeah. But she's we got to talking through email and stuff a few times, and she's a chef, and I think she's a really, really cool lady, and I thought it would be interesting to have her perspective being a newer smoker and how she we'll talk about food, we'll talk about everything. So without further ado, let us introduce Denise Lugo in the house. Hello.
Hi,
Hey,
so
Denise. Nice to have you on, Denise. Nice to see you.
nice to see you guys too. I'm super excited. Oh my gosh. Never thought this was actually be possible.
You know what? I reached out. Man, I first talked to you about this maybe like 2 months ago or something, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah, a little bit over a month. Oh yeah, like 2 months ago. Yeah, you have me a nervous wreck since.
Well, don't worry. It's we're just a bunch of doofuses. You don't have to impress us.
Now,
And
Denise,
how are you doing? Good.
is there a way you can flip your camera in an angle?
Lift it in an angle.
Turn it so it's panoramic instead of
Let me see.
or landscape mode.
I will try. Sorry for the close-up, guys.
That's
It's
cool.
okay.
I need where's my lighter? Yeah, just flip your camera on its side if
There you go. That is a lot better.
All right, let's see. Will it stick? Will it not stick?
oh this is an interesting smoke.
What are you smoking?
Well, I'm smoking one of the cigars that Kevin sent me today. It is the Pappy Van Winkle Family Reserve from Drew Estate. I've never had one, so he had a bunch. He said he'd send me some, and I've been looking forward to this.
Okay.
So
What are you smoking, Denise?
I've left it for you gentlemen to actually decide. So a little over 2 months ago, I was sent these two babies by Vic, and I've been kind of letting them like acclimate until
Oh,
I never I didn't
Las
think that-
Calaveras.
I mean, at that point, I never even. It wasn't even the possibility of me even being on the show. I mean, it hadn't even gone into anyone's mind. But he sent me this, and I was like super excited. So I'm not sure which one should I go for.
I would say Las Calaveras.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do the Las Calaveras,
Okay.
and I'm good. I'm glad they got to acclimate for a while because I had some issues with my humidor, my Crown Heads humidor, and those cigars, those particular cigars, dried out a little bit. But you've had it sitting for quite a while, so it should be fine.
Over here in South Florida, it's so like the humidity is so high that it was pretty quick, acclimated pretty quick. I didn't have an issue with it whatsoever. But get it lit.
So for everyone watching, everyone who knows, I just want to get this out of the way because I'm still on cloud 9 about this. So a week ago, last Friday, I passed my exam that I've been studying for and that I put my everything on hold for and stuff. So I passed it. I'm done with that. I'm so stoked to get that out of my hair, man, because it was a bear.
Definitely.
Caesar, what are you smoking?
The Liga Privada number 9.
Oh, that's right. The number 9. That's right.
I have yet to try any of the Liga Privadas yet.
Oh, you're
Oh,
gonna
my.
fall in love with
But
Oh
it.
my gosh.
I've heard they're really good.
I would say
Super
try
good.
the T52 first, and then do the Liga Privada next after T52.
Okay. Okay.
Cigar Man is smoking a Candela from Cigar Bundles of Miami. Oh, that's cool. Kevin just had another video come out about them too.
So I had Martin telling me that for this show, we need to learn how to caress cigars, and that Caesar was going to show us how to do that.
Do what?
Caress cigars.
Oh, that video that Martine did.
I'm putting you on the spot right from the beginning.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I did it on a Liga Privada cigar too.
No.
So here's the Liga Privada cigar.
Uh-huh.
Look,
There
you go.
very nice. It's smooth. It's
Sorry,
very
Rick.
veiny and dark.
Vic is already turning red. Sorry, Vic. Oh, God. I just have to
It's
bring it up right from the beginning.
Yeah. I saw that video that he posted in the Smoking Lead Disciples room, and
Yeah.
it was pretty funny.
Yeah, he got me good.
That was unexpected, huh, Caesar?
No,
Not from Martine.
From Martine, I think I would expect that. And
Yeah.
honestly, if it's not from Martine, it's from Kevin. I get it all the time. And so every time I'm doing a review and I say something or I do something, I'll catch myself, but I won't say nothing on the video. Sometimes I would because I would joke about it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, I'm going to fucking hear it. I'm going to hear it. I know I'm going to hear from one of these two guys. And sure enough, Martine just busted out with a nice little video of me falling in love with a cigar and just caressing it and touching it and talking about it. And with a little music in the background, and I'm just going, are you fucking kidding me?
That's what it's all about. I don't think that any one of us has not smoked that one cigar that you kind of like, you fall in love with to the point that that's the one that you want to continue putting in your humidor, have it that, day to day. So, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
You just made it kind of like into a video. So why not?
Yeah. And you know what? The cigar was really good. It actually made, it was really good. Vic, you haven't seen my last video, so I'm just going to leave it like that.
Oh yeah, I got to watch that still. Hey, everyone in the chat, thank you so much for congratulating me and stuff. Roger Fraser, how's it going, buddy? great to see you in the house. Pete F, we got in there. I'm sorry, P Roland 1. Sean, I don't know how to say your last name, Sean. Is it Cheatham or Chatham or? Anyways, hey buddy, how's it going? Nice to see you here. Jason Castillo is in the house.
Hi everyone.
So what are you guys pairing your cigar with? Since we're going to be talking a lot about food pairing, let's talk about the drink first.
So, Vic, you want to go first?
Sure. I posted this in
ladies first, bro. Come on, already messing up.
I asked.
She set me up for that. Go ahead, Jenisse. I won't be a.
So I'm actually having the the Woodford Reserva Third Double Oak. So that's the one I'm having now with a calaveras that you guys chose. So up to now, it's going really well.
Is that what is that? What kind of spirit is that?
It's a bourbon.
A bourbon, okay.
My extras right here. So it's my go-to.
Nice.
I love it. I love it. It's sweet. It's for me it's smooth, super smooth. I like that sweetness in it. I love Scotch, but Scotch is a little peaty. It's a little like dry for me. Definitely I love my bourbons, especially with the cigars. It's what I actually started smoking cigars with rum, and little by little, I guess because I also enjoyed the sweetness of the rum, but little by little I started going more towards the bourbons and all that. That's mostly because of my sister. My sister taught me before she actually gave me my first bourbon. I didn't know anything about it, and I specifically I remember her once telling me that I was pretty much messing up the spirit completely because I put ice on it. And I'm like, but why not? I wanted to put ice on it. You should never do that. It should always be the way you get all those nuances, all that stuff. So I definitely owe that to my sister to get me into the bourbons and the scotches and all that. But, yeah.
Nice. Mm-hmm. What about you, Caesar?
Well,
you said you're pairing up with that.
Yeah, well, this one here, I'm pairing it with something called Don Pedro. It's a Gran Reserva Especial, which comes from Mexico. And in Mexico, I guess you can call it a whiskey or Scotch whiskey, but in Mexico they call it a brandy.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah, so you'll see that a lot in the Mexican. So my mom brought this to me. She imported it from Mexico when she went over and visited some family members, and she came back and brought that bottle for me. But really good.
Is it similar to a brandy? I mean, does it taste like it, or
it is? It's like a brandy. But it tastes more like it's whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I guess you can say it's a brandy. I mean, that's what it's labeled as.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, I'm gonna drop out for just a sec to try and fix my video. I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay.
And Robert, he wasn't able to join us today.
Robert, he had messaged us earlier, and he said his son has a fever right now, and his wife's at work, so he won't be able to get away for that moment. So no Robert today.
I hope he gets better soon. Definitely.
Yeah.
Best of wishes for the son.
Yeah. Hi, Chica, or Cigar Chica. How you doing? Roland, what's up, buddy? Hector. I guess his name's Hector.
Hector.
What's up, buddy?
Hi, Hector.
As we sit here and wait for Vic to come back on, so we can start asking more personal and in-depth questions. Just kidding. Hey, what's up, Tony? How you doing, brother? What's up, Adam?
Tony. How are you, Tony? Wow.
But yeah, how's your day been?
All right.
It was good. Really good. I had it off today. I'm gonna speak a lot about my sister because she's like my everything. But she's about to give birth soon. Actually, she's already dilating. Yeah, she's already dilating a centimeter. So
wow.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So they have her pretty much on watch for like the next week or so. So I took off today and pretty much just hanging out with the family, getting ready for the show, and that's it. Like, my day, that's pretty much my day was all about. How about
See, I seen your sister on Instagram. I thought it was you. I thought it was another account, and I'm going,
you?
she's got another personal account. I'm like, I'm gonna leave her alone. I'm not gonna say nothing. And then she kept popping up and popping up. I'm like, what the heck? I'm gonna send her a friend request. And she accepted it. And then I when she accepted it, her pictures came up first, right? To let me know that she accepted my Instagram friend request.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that it was you and her. And I'm like, holy crap, is that her twin sister? And then I was like, who is that? And I'm going, are you serious? That's not her. That's her sister. And I'm seeing that she's pregnant. And I'm like, wait, that's not Jenisse. That's her sister's account.
It's crazy. We get that a lot. But if you ask her and I, like, we do not see the resemblance whatsoever. We do not. So it's crazy. We used to, because prior to becoming a chef, I was in property management. Prior to that, I was in the banking industry. So we were working together in a property management company over here in Orlando, and different properties. But it was great because you would get this vendor coming, to my property. But weren't you just at that property over there? I'm like, no, I think it's about my sister. So it's pretty crazy, but we just don't see the resemblance. So it's cool that you say that. So,
yeah, I seriously thought it was your account, and even when I went in, I was still thinking that's her account. That's probably her sister. And I'm going, wait, that's not.
Yeah.
Is Denise pregnant? Oh wait, hold on. What's going on?
Are you about to sneeze, bro?
It was her sister.
You look like you were about to sneeze or something. Did you fight? Caesar did.
Oh no, because I had smoke about to go into my mouth. I was about to breathe it in.
So,
Vic, what are you drinking? You never told us.
Yeah, I'm doing a new coffee tonight. It's so I just finished a bag of Tanzanian peaberry a little while ago. This is a Tanzanian peaberry coffee as well, but it's from a different company, and I have really come to like Tanzanian peaberry. It is an amazing coffee, and if it's roasted different, then you get a little bit different flavors out of it and stuff. So anyways, I'm drinking coffee tonight, and then I'm having this. So I started to say that Kevin, we were in the whereby the virtual lounge for Patriarchal Smoke the other night, and Kevin said that he was talking about some cigars he had. We got to talking about the Pappy Van Winkle, and I was like, oh, I still haven't tried it yet. And he said he didn't care for it much, but he had a whole bunch of them. So he said he'd send me a few. But he sent me like 3 of these. He sent me a bunch of stuff, really cool stuff. And I was like, holy crap, man. He really took care of me.
How are you liking the Cigar Canal, though?
The cigar is interesting. It's got that, I don't know if it's the same. It's got a Kentucky fire cured aroma to it, but I don't taste it much. And this is supposed to be done. The tobacco is cured in what they call a pairings method, which is something they do with what is it? Whiskey or something like that. Anyways, the tobacco gets the tobacco gets compressed in I think whiskey barrels by Drew Estate to age it and ferment it and stuff. And it's this method called pairings. So I don't know. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I smoked that cigar. It's pretty good.
You know what I found so interesting also, that one person might not like one cigar, but then the other person will, and for different reasons. It's just crazy, and it works very similar to even the palate. I mean, it's part of the palate, of course, where that's how we're tasting everything. But even with food, somebody could be, just wowed by a dish, and all of a sudden the person right next to it, it's just a little different. But I love that, especially even with cigars, because you're never wrong. You're wrong. One person could be like, no, that's not a good cigar, but if you taste it, it's like you're blown away. So it just keeps everything. What do you have? Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, Kevin was asking if I had the white or the red label. I didn't even realize there were different labels on them. So I wonder what the difference is between them. But
Yeah, what is the difference? You have me now. You have me a little interested in that.
all I know is it's an expensive cigar, which is one of the reasons I haven't tried it yet, because I didn't want to spend the money on it. But
Yeah.
Usually,
Just
if you
like your
wait
experience.
long enough, someone will send one to you. So, Jenisse,
Yes, Vic.
you are a chef, and I guess you sort of you wanted a fresh start. So, like you said, you were in something else, but then you went uh, into cooking and all that, and you became a chef. You went to the Cordon Bleu school
Uh-huh.
in Miami, and we talked a little bit about that, because at one time I was going to send my daughter there. It didn't work out, but so let's start with that. What was going to Cordon Bleu like, and what was it? What was the sort of format and stuff? Because I'm going to tie this into like all these baking shows and stuff. I got a ton of questions for you.
And real quick before we say anything, Robert's in the room. What's up, Robert?
Hey,
Hi,
Rob. Thanks for stopping in tonight, bro.
Hope your son gets better, buddy. So go ahead, Denise.
So Le Cordon Bleu, amazing experience. I was lucky. I was blessed enough to be able to also have an employment opportunity while I was there studying as well. So I made a really good relationships with the professors and everyone in back office and all that good stuff. So even more so, my experience at the school was just amazing. It was crazy because that was the first thing I wanted to do coming out of high school. I went and for different reasons, personal reasons, I wasn't able to actually go through it. So that's when I started banking, experience. And I went through it for a little bit over 12 years. And then I finally said, this is actually what I've been wanting to do for so long, and holding back, all that time. So I finally decided, with, the support of my family, all that good stuff, to just make a decision and just go for what I was interested in doing. And that was my culinary. So I went for the Cordon Bleu, because we also have Johnson and Wales over here as well. But I just felt that the Cordon Bleu was what was for me. It had a lot more of what I was looking for, and went for them. It was about 18 months or so. You start usually with Foundations 1. Foundations 1, they teach you pretty much all the basics. So you have your life skill, your different types of cuts, and different types of, starter salad, little things like that. Sanitation, what else? Then they break it up. You have Foundations 2, Foundations 3. Then they start getting to like the really fun courses, which is your cuisine across cultures, I think what it was called, which is pretty much learning about all types of dishes and food-based cultures. So they'll go from Spain, France, Middle East, they'll go, South America, a little bit of everything. So
Oh, wow.
that was super cool. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
It wasn't well, Cordon Bleu started out. It was started in France, right? It was a French school to begin with.
Paris.
So was that kind of their staple or their core, or did they just do everything?
It was definitely their staple. But they gave a little bit of everything. So it wasn't just your French dishes and all that good stuff. It's funny because when people think of culinary and dishes and how everything started, it pretty much started over there. It's what people think, that the actual theory, France is the main, and everything kind of like ventured out from there. I don't personally agree with that. But it was definitely their staple. However, they did show you a little bit of all different types of cultures, which I love. I absolutely love. I have not been able to travel. So one of the reasons why I love that class so much, which was Professor Saeed, that was his name. He made it so much fun. He did so much fun, and he just taught us so many things that I never thought that I would even be able to taste, being here locally. I never thought that I would be able to taste all of that type of, cuisine. So After that, we had baking a patisserie. You know, personally, I did not like that course whatsoever. As you can tell, I speak very fast, and that's the way I also work. My executive chef that I'm working with, he's really good friends with me. His name is Vermis and Doorbell. He tells me all the time, you act faster or think faster than what you're able to, you know, because I'm always like, but making a patisserie to me, you have to wait so long. You have to wait for something to prove. You have to wait for something to kind of rise. You have to wait for something. So I need to be able to be in action. That's why I love, you know, kitchen in itself, because you're constantly in the go. You know, you have, for example, I worked for the Hard Rock, so you have 900 covers a day, 900 plates pretty much that you're serving a day.
Wow.
And you're constantly on the go. You know, you get burned, you're sweaty, you're running, you're doing whatever it is, you're helping someone else because you want the kitchen to drown. I mean, the stress level is crazy. So when you think of baking patisserie for that actual course, it wasn't one of my favorites, but at the same time, I learned so much because I just feel that it was a challenge to me. You always want to get away from your comfort zone, and definitely it was not one of my cup of teas, pretty much. But I managed. I did it. So yeah, the cordon bleu definitely good.
So when I took my daughter there to sort of, you know, go through the little tour of what the school is like and stuff, I don't really remember much about it, except they showed a knife set that she would receive if she joined the school. It looked like a pretty nice knife set. And then they had like legit kitchens there, like total industrial commercial kitchens for
work.
So, but did they also have classrooms, and how much classroom time did you have as opposed to kitchen time and stuff?
They did. So I would say 80% of your classes within those 18 months were kitchen, but you also have the remaining 20, which was, you know, classes. So you have your cost control, you have your basics, because you also need to go through your math, your English, your just the basics, like if you were going to any university.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, and then you also have the nutrition. So they give you a nutrition course. They give you a wine and spirits type of course, which that was super fun because you were able to. I was going to record at 6:30 in the morning. So talk about getting lit very early. You got out of there spinning circles. Like it was just definitely fun. Definitely fun. So yeah, a couple of courses that you had to. I think there was another one that was called, what is it? Diversity, cultural diversity or so, which was also very fun too, because you were able to learn, you know, about different areas and how to deal with, you know, different personalities in the kitchen, stuff like that. So, yeah, so you definitely get some courses in addition to the actual kitchen.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what type of food you learn how to make a bunch of types of food of different cultures? Am I correct? So which ones do you cook? Which ones do I cook? Yeah, because I know there's like Cuban food, there's Mexican food, there's Puerto Rican food, you know, there's Italian food and all this other stuff. Do you know how to cook all those, or just some of? I know how to cook. I dabble in all of them. I recently graduated, so I'm still learning. And even with chefs that have been in the industry for years, they always learn, because there's always something new coming in the industry, because people want something different. People want, and they're open-minded now. Back in the day, people weren't so open-minded to trying out all these different types of, you know, things. Like today, he sent me this link in regards to feathers, you know, that over there in I think it was in Asia, right? Somewhere in Asia, they wanted to actually start incorporating feathers as part of their food. So
in Taiwan, it's a crazy story. So basically, this researcher in Taiwan somehow noticed that from all the chickens that are slaughtered and stuff for restaurants and everything, they end up with tons and tons of chicken feathers. And he was like, chicken feathers are protein. At the end of the day, it's protein.
Yeah.
So
I heard something like that about in China. In Wuhan, China, bats are also some type of protein.
well, that's the whole animal. But
That's where COVID-19 supposedly came from.
You're bad. You're bad.
hold on a sec. So, anyways, this guy, I think I know how he does it. I'm not sure. I'm a little curious to try it myself, but basically, he came up with a process for. He basically turns the feathers into a powder, and then he takes that powder and he makes like formed chicken breasts, steak. And I sent you the one with the picture because a bunch of them didn't have the picture, but these steaks look amazing, and they're made out of chicken feathers, and it's absurd.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
And I'm like, I want to know what it tastes like because it looked amazing. It looked really, really good.
Now, if you get sick, bro, with some disease here, it's all on you.
That's actually
If
very
we get locked down for another year because of chicken feathers, that's
Well, he said he was going to start making a bang for his buck with all his farm animals over there. So
Yeah.
Well, we got a question here from Cigar Man. It says, "What is your favorite to cook?"
What's my favorite to cook? Pasta all day. Pasta.
Okay.
I love Italian food, and not even Italian. 'Cause with Asia, you have your rice noodles. You have your anything noodles. I always said that I don't mind. I mean, if I'm choking with a noodle, allow me to die. I'll die a happy death. Just keep going.
I love Italian food. I love Italian food.
But yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite right there.
But then again,
and,
I love every type of food. That's why I'm the way I am. I can't stop trying
by
new
the
things.
way, Vic, I didn't show you. I'm representing.
Oh my gosh! So
look at that.
when you first came on the camera, I was like, is that a High Desert Man shirt? Oh my gosh, that is so awesome.
I altered it. I altered it a little bit because I got to put my little girl twang to it. But
I like it. That's so cool.
That's fantastic.
With my little sewing machine on my day off, kind of like I want to make this kind of cutesy. So, but I'm definitely represent. Hey,
there you go. Hey Vic, you should do a little knot like right here in the front.
Show my belly.
Yeah, show all your little tummy right there. I know you got a flat stomach.
Hey, that's out here in Miami is totally fab. So Vic could probably rock that. So yeah, even with, I'm not sure if you guys have ever had fish bones. With fish bones, you could do so many things.
Really?
Crackers, you could do little crumbles for on top of your stuff. So it's just you can dehydrate, and not only is it health beneficial, but at the same time it gives it a little crunch factor. So just like ostrich, I've heard that with even ostrich. I personally have never done it, but with ostrich, able to actually dehydrate, the skin on the legs, and for culinary whatever, just for little that crunch factor, that extra flavor. And
that is cool.
And they use them also. Now you're saying that you were gonna go all out with your farm animals, but I've heard that you could even do medicine as well, which is
I've heard of that
with the powder. Yeah, with the powder, it's pretty cool. But like we were saying, with the culinary, you never quite finish learning. It's always something different. Always something different. If I'm squinting, it's because I took my glasses off, guys, and I honestly cannot see for the life of me. But I don't.
No, you're fine.
I don't want to see the glare, so I just took them off.
No problem. No problem.
Sorry, I keep looking like what is it, Mr. Magoo? I'm like.
Cigar Chica says same way. I'm a little fluffy just from the word pasta.
Definitely, I'm with you, Cigar Chica. It's nice to have girls in this chat. Love it.
So Tony is sort of segueing into something I wanted to talk to you about. He's asking you about going on Chopped sometime or one of the cooking shows.
No.
Those look brutal, man.
I have anxiety. Like to get me on this show, Vic, honestly, like I love you guys because I literally had to have probably 2 of these before even getting on the show because I am not. I don't do good under pressure. I don't. I'm very like what they say here in Miami, una chica tropical. You know what I mean? Like these are no facts, but
I know what you mean.
Under pressure, and I don't think I will ever see myself in one of those shows. No, just looking at them gets me super amped. Like I just can't do it. I wouldn't be.
Okay, but so give. I mean, I'm addicted to those types of shows, and right now it's the great. What's it called? The Great Bake. It's a European show. They do it under tents and stuff, and it's they mostly make like pastries and cakes and stuff like that. But it's super intense to watch. So the context, so far as coming up with that stuff, and I don't even know what I'm trying to ask. It's just how much. Okay, so on those shows, they typically give like on the Great Bake Off or whatever, they'll give like 4 hours. They'll give them a bunch of secret ingredients. They'll say you've got 4 hours. What goes into that 4 hours, and is it even how good does the person have to be to accomplish that in 4 hours?
Listen, it's a lot of creativity, Vic. A lot of creativity and a lot of passion for to be able to do what they ask you for in 4 hours. And also it shows they give you really good help. They give you a couple of, cooks to be able to assist you with that process. But in the culinary industry, for example, when you're actually trying to go from one title to the next title, you'll have to do surprise, tastings just to make sure where your experience is at, where your creativity is at, where even everything, your presentation, how organized you are. So they'll give you what they call a mystery basket, and then that mystery basket, they'll literally choose whatever they think. And sometimes they make it so hard. They make it very hard because they want to actually they want to put you in pressure. They want to see where is it that your creativity goes, Okay. So when I personally had to do one of those when I went into the Hard Rock, and I had to do. They literally asked you to do about 2 entrees, 1 appetizer, 1 salad or so. But I was lucky enough to be able to have a couple of items that were in there that I just thought out of the blue, and I was able to make, an additional entree. I was able to make, a dessert even. But it's crazy because even when I was doing my tasting to be able to get my title over there at the Hard Rock, I was 2 minutes late. I was 2 minutes late from the time that they told me, and they allowed it. Why? Because they saw that I had given them a little extra with what they asked for. So going back to those shows, it's super difficult. It's super hard. The stress level, the anxiety, the sense of even the sense of failure sometimes is always in your mind. Oh my gosh, what's gonna happen if you're gonna fail? If I make it, you still gotta push through. And that's one thing that, once again, coming from my friend, Chef Hermanson, he tells me all the time, you gotta push through. You gotta make it happen. Just keep going, no matter what. The ending is you're still gonna come up with something. It's still gonna be that dish. Even if it's one dish, but it's gonna be your heart inside that dish. And that's what I do. I actually I work like that, and I just don't think that going into one of those shows, being in so much pressure, I would be able to kind of do it, especially when it's on TV. But when you're live, like in your industry, and you're doing something, it's a little different. So that's where I break the ice, and I'm able to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know you've been smoking cigars, not for a very long time, but I know you've been smoking for a good little while.
Mm-hmm.
What are your top 3 to 5 cigars that you like to smoke?
All right. I personally like the Deborah Desvalido. I love that. There was, I think, the Cubo. I forgot now. I think it's Dapper too, right? Cubo? I want to say it's from them. And
I don't know. I've had the Desfilado, but I don't know of that other one.
yeah, there's a Kubo. And I
Oh,
want
the
to say
Kubo, the Kubo, yeah, the Kubo Sumatra. There's a couple of them actually.
yeah. So I like that. And I also tried recently the Laranja. The Laranja was
Okay.
really nice.
Oh, yeah,
Really nice. I had another Lancero because you know I love my Lanceros.
Espinosa.
Yes, Espinosa. Yeah, really
I'm
good.
starting to like Lanceros, man. I really am. I've been smoking them lately, and I'm like, man, I think I'm liking these, man, for real.
They're really good. They're really good. And it's crazy because you would think that they smoke pretty fast, but they don't. They
They
actually
don't.
smoke. Yeah, you have a good, what, maybe an hour and 15 minutes, you know,
Yeah.
chilling.
Yep.
And then the actual concentration of those flavors, like the flavors that you get, it's crazy because I got that from, who was it that I saw? Sorry, Vic, but I cheated on you after watching your videos. I started watching others, but there was, Cigar Vixen. Cigar
Oh
Vixen.
yeah,
Listen,
Delicia.
she also loves the Lanceros. And
Yeah, she's a big fan of Lanceros.
yeah, so I was learning. I'm like, what is a Lancero? Like, what is it? So just seeing her smoke it, even as a girl, you know, I as a girl, it's a little difficult when you're caught in a lounge and you're smoking. You also want to look girly while you're doing it. You don't want to look, you know, very tough because it is a man's world. I mean, let's not lie about it. It's a man's world. You're coming into it, and we as women, I hope I can speak for women. We appreciate the fact that you're allowing us into your world, because it's wonderful. You know, the cigar world is just amazing. But watching her and, you know, seeing how dainty she does and how, you know, how she's loving the lancero and all that stuff. And I felt curious, you know, and I got my first lancero. Which one was my first lancero? I don't remember now. I honestly do not remember what my first lancero was, but I absolutely loved it. And it's what, just from now on, if you look at my humidor, the majority of the stuff that I have are all lanceros. Some of them have been a failure because they burn a little weird. Some of them, it just depends. But I mean, I love them. I still love them. Yeah.
And so you gave us 3 cigars. What's 2 more cigars?
Plasencia, Alma Fuerte. I love
Oh,
it.
nice,
That's
nice.
cool, but I loved it. What was another one? Let me see. Oh, I recently had a Southern Rosa Sharon. Was it the Rosa Sharon Southern Draw? Really good. That was also a Lancero. And
Kevin sent me one of those too. Well, I've smoked it before, but he sent me some. I think it was a Jacob's Ladder, a really big one. It's almost like a Lancero, but it's a little bit larger ring gauge. So it should be an interesting smoke because the Jacob's Ladder is a pretty hefty smoke.
Yeah, and like Kevin said, I mean, it's not a man's world anymore. It really isn't.
It's so good.
It's a smoker's world. Just like Kevin's saying, he says it's not a man's world. This is a cigar smoker's world. It doesn't matter whether you are a sister of the leaf or a brother of the leaf. If you have a passion for the leaf, that is all that matters.
I love it. I love it. You hit the nail. Yeah, I love it. That's amazing.
I'm gonna start making my underwear out of tobacco leaves.
I want to see how you make it. You got to try it on though.
Okay, but it's gonna be a thong. I'm just telling you.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine.
That's awesome. No, yeah, definitely.
Please, if y'all can hear the sirens, excuse the sirens. I have Santa Claus on top of a fire truck passing by, going slow for the kids.
Aw,
That's very cool.
that's so cool. Definitely.
They're passing by. And let me see if I can show you real quick.
Oh, the presidential. Kevin says it's called the presidential. It's a traditional Cuban size. Okay, I've heard of the presidential before. That's cool.
Can y'all see any lights? No, you can't see any lights.
I see lights on the house. I don't see the truck though.
Oh,
I
don't
think
pass
the tag, little front tag on it.
Oh, this coffee is amazing. So, Denise, you're a coffee person as well. Do you? Okay. What's your favorite coffee? And not like roast or whatever, but your favorite way of making coffee
My favorite go-to. I mean, I'm Cuban, so I wasn't born in Cuba, but my family, my culture is Cuban. So definitely my Cuban colada, my cafecito. That's what I have in the mornings. That's what gets me going. And you know,
And how do
aside
you make it?
how do I make it? Well,
How do you make it?
we have the Cuban cafetera,
Okay.
which is, I'm not sure if you probably have seen it. The little, you know, stainless steel sort of like coffee maker, and we
Yeah.
put it straight up on the either the flat top or your stove or what have you, and you put your water, you put your, of course, your ground. The whole, I guess, art in your Cuban coffee or clarita, it's the what you do, your fumita. Your fumita is what they call it, which is your sugar with the first drops of your coffee that brews.
Yes.
And you're able to kind of like shake it, like, you know, and you're okay to break it. That's fine. You want to shake it till you get like this nice sort of like a merengue color, like a white color.
It's almost like a molasses, right?
Well, no, actually, it's soup. Once you shake it a lot, you're actually getting like this really nice, sort of like light coffee color on your sugar. It's like a merengue, but it's like a light coffee color.
Okay.
And when you pour in your coffee, that's what gives that crema, that nice little like
Yes.
beautiful top of it.
Yep.
Not everybody knows how to do it. You got to be able to, like, you know, how do you say it? Flick the wrist pretty much while you're making it. But that's my goal.
So the Italian way of doing something similar is they use the mocha pot, which the mocha pot is sort of an hourglass shaped type of thing, but it's in two pieces.
Okay.
And you put the water in the bottom, and then you put pretty fine grounds, but not quite as fine as espresso. And it's a lot of grounds for the amount of water that's going in. But anyway, so you boil that up and you get the coffee. With the first few drops of coffee that come off that, you take a little cup that has however much sugar you want, like 2 or 3 teaspoons of sugar, and you put a few drops of coffee in there, and you whip it up real good until it's kind of a molasses sort of look. Little bit lighter actually than molasses, and it's I don't know how to. It's almost like almost like a frosting or something. It's kind of weird. But then
we call it merengue.
Yeah. So you pour your coffee in a separate cup, and then you take some of that sugar, and on a small teaspoon, not even a teaspoon, but just a small spoon, and you just lightly start sort of agitating the top of the coffee with the sugar on the spoon, and you're just sort of, and what it does is the sugar is already kind of dissolved because of the previous process, but it starts melting through the coffee, and then it puts a real thin layer of crema on top of the coffee, but it also adds that sweetness and stuff. But in that process, it's all about doing it very delicately.
Oh no, we beat the hell out of it. We are not delicate whatsoever. Like, no, whenever you're, you know, in a Cuban's house in the morning and they're making cafecito, it's not a graceful situation going on. They're beating the shit out of it. Yeah, we're not graceful at all.
Well, I do it more the American way. I do it more the American way. I get this little white cup that's got a little bit of coffee in it. I just put it inside the same cup.
I have one of those. I recently bought not a Keurig. What is it?
Yeah, that's what it is.
The Nespresso machine. And I love it because it's so quick. Like, especially me, I wake up, I barely have time to sleep. So just 2 minutes of sleep time to me is so valuable that I bought myself that Nespresso machine. And for my mornings, it's been amazing.
Yeah, me too.
Vic has like this like whole art, you know, working.
Yeah, he does. And see, I can't do that at 4:30 in the morning. I can't do that. I gotta be getting dressed, turn on the coffee machine, put that little cup in there, let it do its thing while I'm getting ready. By the time I'm leaving, I'm already ready to go and I'm set.
Yeah.
Well, the difference is I get up 3 hours before I have to start working. So I get up, I go through my little ritual with my coffee, then I read for a while and stuff, and then I start working.
You build a fire because I've seen the wood fire as well.
Yeah, this time of year, yeah. In fact, right now I'm burning fires into the night because it's been so freaking cold.
Oh wow. No, I definitely don't do that. I run in the morning. I definitely run, and I don't have time. I don't. But when I'm off, I don't mind. I don't mind doing the cafecito myself. Here in Miami, you have a cafeteria anywhere you're at, so it's easy for you to just get a coladita on the run and stuff like that when you have time. Especially with COVID going on right now. Unfortunately, you gotta have your distance, you gotta wait your time, all the good stuff. But it's a lot more accessible here in Miami for the coladita on the go. I personally like doing it on my own when I'm off. Definitely, I
So,
take my
since you're a coffee drinker and a cigar smoker, what's your favorite cigar to
That's
smoke?
what I was going to ask.
Coffee?
Oh my gosh, the brulee. The sobremesa brulee in the morning.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I absolutely love it. I haven't tried the blue. But the original brulee, I absolutely love it.
The original, in my opinion, is better than the blue's pretty good. I smoked another one here just a couple days ago. It's pretty good,
I like the blue more.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like both. Don't get me wrong; they're both really good, but there's just something about that blue that's a little better.
You had the review not so long ago, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I haven't watched your review on it yet, bro. I gotta watch that.
I stalk you guys, so I see you guys all the time. So yeah. No, but I definitely like the brulee in the morning. And what's crazy, I actually tried the naranja also in the morning, and it gave my coffee a little bit of that sort of like that citrusy, those flavors that the naranja has. With my coffee, it was freaking amazing. I loved it. Freaking amazing. But I want to say the brulee was my favorite for a morning cigar.
Okay.
So give us some type of a food pairing with a cigar that you like to do or tried, or you think we should try.
So steak, definitely steak. Oh my gosh.
Always steak.
You can either have a steak with a nice béarnaise on top, probably even we have a special going on now in the bistro, which is a New York and some crab meat with a nice. It's sort of like an Oscar. So you have an Oscar means you have your crab, you have your asparagus, you have a nice hollandaise on top, and a nice fatty, juicy New York steak. You have mid-rare. At least that's how I personally like it. Mid-rare. Have a cigar afterwards. You can either do it with your scotch, your whatever. It's amazing. It's amazing because it just kind of like complements the flavors. Even with peppercorn. I'm not sure if you guys have had a peppercorn sauce, but the peppercorn sauce, the nice little like that spice that you get. With
a peppercorn sauce.
Yeah, peppercorn sauce is pretty much it's like we call it a demi, which is pretty much your beef bones. You make a nice stock out of it, with mirepoix, which is your onions, your carrots, your celery. You have your thyme, which is your rosemary, all that good stuff. You put it in there, make a nice stock out of it, fortified stock, and then with that, you're able to put it in with some shallots, some nice peppercorn butchered, so it's not really whole. You kind of like grind it a little bit, toast it up, a little bit of brandy because you definitely want brandy in there, and then you kind of like let that with all of your herbs kind of like reduce. Once it has that nice sort of nappe, we call it nappe. You turn around your spoon after you dip it in the sauce. You turn around your spoon and you kind of go like this to it. If you see the separation of the sauce and your finger, that means it's ready for you to take everything out. Just leave the actual liquid, and then you add your cream in there, and that's peppercorn sauce. So you have that sweetness of the brandy, you have the peppercorn in there, you have your fortified stock in there, and it's absolutely amazing with steak. Absolutely amazing with steak.
Martin, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Mark.
We don't get Martin in here too often, man.
Nice to see you.
Kevin, what's Kevin saying here? He's saying, can you give him a quick lesson on a good Hollandaise sauce? His always comes out gritty or lumpy.
No, Hollandaise sauce is, you just need to have your time with it. You need to give love to it because it's pretty much it's a temperature type of sauce that you need to play around with. So you can't have it too cold, but you can't have it too hot because you're also putting clarified butter in it. So what happens is you get your egg yolks, depending on the amount that you want to put in there, but you get your egg yolks, you get a little bit of lemon juice or vinegar, plain vinegar, you have your cayenne pepper, you have your salt, white pepper, and a little bit of Tabasco. You kind of beat it in a nice bowl, beat it until it gets a little frothy, and then little by little, you could put it either very hot, clarified butter, super slow to allow it to emulsify until it gets that consistency that you want it to, to get. And then after that, you need to make sure that you're keeping it at a temperature that it's not too hot, because what happens with butter, when it gets too hot, it kind of liquefies on you. So that's what we call separation. It separates from the actual ingredients that you have in there, and you're not going to be able to use it. But if you get it too cold, on the other hand, it gets pasty, and you're not able to actually have it like a sauce, So it's a little bit of you got to definitely put a lot of time into your hollandaise sauce, that's for sure. It's hard. It's one of the first sauces that we learned at Le Cordon Bleu, and very challenging sauce, but it's just like quite slow. You learn it and you always remember. You just got to continue practicing it to be able to get that good technique.
Hey, Jenisse, your sound went really tinny for your. It sounds like you're standing way back from the phone or something. Something just happened with the sound.
Can you hear me a little better now?
No, it's here. Let me drop you out for just a second. I'll bring you right back.
Sounds good.
All right, let's see if this. Say something.
How's the quality now?
Okay, that's better.
All right. Testing.
All right.
1, 2, 3. There we go.
Yeah, it's a little tinny, but we can hear you, so it's cool. You said a cigar with a steak, and I got so about 12 years ago, I was doing a project in I think I was in Ohio. Anyways, went to a Morton Steakhouse that night after work, and one of my favorite steaks is the Morton's has they have their regular steak that everyone kind of usually gets, but then they have a dry rub steak it's kind of like in fact, I think they call it the Cajun dry steak or something like that. It's a phenomenal steak, and so I had that, and then I went back to my hotel, went out by the pool, and I had a La Flor Dominicana chisel. And I don't know if you've heard of the chisel before, but it when it came out, it was probably the strongest cigar on the market. It was really strong, and it's called the chisel because the mouth end kind of it's flat and it kind of comes down almost to a point. And the way that I would smoke them was I would use a punch to punch a hole in the flat part so that the smoke shot up into the roof of my mouth.
Oh wow!
And oh my gosh, that was one of the best pairings. I remember everything about it to this day. It made that kind of impression on me. It was amazing.
Yeah, I one time I like to smoke my steaks in the barbecue pit. So usually what I'll do is I'll smoke a cigar while I'm doing that. And one of my favorite ones to do is the KFC Swamp Thing, the Kentucky Fried Swamp Thing. And I was, one time I was finished already with cooking my steaks, but I wasn't done with my cigar. So I was eating my steak. I like it medium rare. So I was eating my steak. I was eating my steak while smoking my cigar. You want to talk about an awesome pairing? Because that cigar already has that barbecue note, that smoky note, and with that steak, oh my goodness! Now I do it all the time. Now when I'm barbecuing and I'm about to eat, I'll make sure I'm still smoking when it's ready, so I can drink and eat at the same time.
Oh my gosh, definitely. I mean, barbecue. You just said it right now. Anything barbecue, anything fatty, sort of like just with cigar. It's amazing. So especially on that retrohale. I'm kind of a little intimidated by the Habanos for some reason, because for me, I'm trying to learn still that retrohale and how to get the nuances and all that good stuff from it. And to me, they're super spicy, so they kind of like do something to my sinuses to the point that even to the next day I'm feeling it. But I'm still, practice makes perfect, so I'm still trying to see it. And maybe it's just something I'm doing wrong. I don't know, but with seafood and Habanos, they're just freaking amazing. I don't know what it is with seafood, whether it's your crabs, your oysters, any type of shellfish. When it comes to cigar, it just complements it so well. And even with a Chardonnay or some kind of like wine, you're lit. I mean, it's just perfect, absolutely perfect.
Nice.
Shrimp, have your prawns, a nice pasta, a nice base pasta with your prawns, and a cigar right after. You can't ask for more. Definitely not.
Hey, Jenisse, do me a favor. Your sound's kind of going wonky on us again.
All right.
Just refresh your browser.
Refresh my browser.
Refresh your browser. It's going to drop you out, and then when you come back in, I think it'll fix the sound. Something's happened with the mic.
Sounds good. Let's try it one more time. Here we go.
This is awesome. This is awesome. I mean, we're all over the place, man. We're talking about some great stuff.
Some good food pairing.
Ashhead Cigar Junkie TV in the house, man.
Oh, what's up, brother?
I just watched. Well, no, I'm behind on his videos. I watched one of Cowboyism's. Okay, here she comes. Here she comes.
How's it sounding now?
I think it's a little better.
It's a little better?
Yeah, that sounds better. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Way better.
Awesome. So you got your bike behind you there.
I do. That's my baby.
Is that in your living room?
Huh?
Is that your living room?
It's not my living room. Actually, I just shy away from my hammock, which you both know that's like my favorite spot to kind of chill and unwind. I come from the kitchen all stressed out, wanting to unwind, and I go straight for my hammock. But no. This is where I usually park it, right, close to us. But yeah, that's my baby. I love my baby. It's a American Classic Edition. It's a 2003 actually, so it's a little old, but it's just everything to me. I've had it for quite some time. Prior to that, I had a 2013 Sabre. I had a Sabre, a Honda Sabre. So I love motorcycles. It's crazy when
that's awesome.
When you're younger, you have, especially the Latino family, your parents are kind of like, you will not get yourself in one of those things. You're gonna kill yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, once I turned 18, you're kind of an adult, and you do what you need to do. But that's my baby. I love my motorcycle, yeah.
Do you ride it to work every day?
Mm-mm.
No, okay.
No, I ride it for fun. That's
awesome. So I noticed you're a bike girl, you're a food girl, you're a cigar girl, but you're also a gun girl.
Yes.
Get out of here. I didn't know that.
That was recent. My executive chef, my friend Burmison, he has his wife that recently also purchased one of those Rugers, the 380, I think is what it's called. It was the original. I fell in love with it because as a girl, you need to always have protection. You never really know. So I bought it mostly for protection, but little by little, I've been getting so hooked on it that I want to be able to kind of get more into it. I took that weapons, course, all that good stuff to get my license and everything. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm definitely a gun girl now.
Wow, that is cool. That is very cool.
I'm still learning how to clean it. I'm still learning how to do all that good stuff. So
there you go.
Definitely fun. I need more friends down here to be able to go shooting. I mean, I've gone, but it's not the same. I've heard that when you go with a good, group, you're able to kind of like have, a whole day's worth of like shooting.
I got a couple of guys. We go to 2 private pieces of land out here in Texas, and we'll go shooting and we'll go like around 8 o'clock in the morning, and won't finish till maybe 8 o'clock at night. And all we're doing is shooting everything. I mean, we're just shooting stuff, blowing up stuff. We got tannerite. We're just doing tons of shooting. I come home smelling like gunpowder sometimes. And
Yay!
I'm like,
How sexy!
yeah. Cigars and gunpowder. That's what I come
There we go.
Yeah, but
Awesome.
I posted pictures before where I'm with a bunch of guys and all our guns are all on the floor or on the back of the bed of our trucks and just out in the country, just shooting ARs, bolt action, revolvers, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Just having a blast.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I need to get myself a couple of those people that are interested in it and just make friends and go out and start shooting whatever it is I see. I mean, it's a stress release too. Why not? You know?
Oh yeah.
So a hard day, just go and start, shooting whatever, and it's fun. Why not?
You're not all that far. Well, it's a ways, but Kevin and Jesse from Cigar Prop, Kevin's actually he shoots a Glock for. I'm going to get this wrong, Kevin, but he shoots competitively with the Glock team or something like that.
Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome. And he's not far. He's around this area.
Well, Kevin's actually on the other side of the state from you. I say it's not far because when I've gone to Palm Beach, West Palm Beach area, I've driven over there. I drove over once to meet Kevin. We hung out for a few hours. I've got a buddy that owns a cigar factory in Ybor City. So I don't know. It's probably actually about 4.5, 5 hours from you. But to me, that's not too far to make a drive.
Close enough. Close enough.
Yeah, he says he's in Sarasota.
Sarasota. Oh, that's not far actually. It's about 3.5, 4 hours away. Not bad. Yeah, I used to live in Orlando, so my parents always, down here in Miami. And that 3.5 hour, honestly, after a couple of drives, it feels like it's just an hour and a half, 2 hours, because it just comes, you're autopilot sort of. So it's not that bad. Not that bad. Yeah.
So
do you shoot, Vic? You have guns?
Oh, do I shoot? I shoot like a crazy man. I go to we've got a private gun range here that I'm a member of.
And that's so cool.
And I've been shooting since I was a little kid. My dad always took me out a lot and stuff. And I'm but I don't do like anything competitive or whatever. I just shoot for fun and I do a lot of hunting. So around this time of year, I usually go hunting for deer or elk, but in Arizona we have to get drawn. We have to put in for. I've got a license, but we have to put in for a tag, and you have to get drawn for that tag. And I didn't get drawn this year, so I got stunk.
What does that mean that you didn't get drawn? I'm sorry.
It just means that I put in for the draw to get an elk tag, and they didn't draw me for the hunt. So what you do is you apply for the tag, and then you pick out what areas you want to hunt in, and they have a number of different hunts. I usually like to hunt in October, but I hunt as late as December sometimes. So I'll pick out 4 or 5 different hunts, and I'll when I put in my application, I say these are the 4 or 5 hunts that I want to get drawn for. If I get drawn, I just get drawn for one of them, and they just pick one.
Okay.
If I don't get drawn, then I don't get an elk tag, and I don't get to hunt that year.
So we got Yanira Perez from 305.
Hey, hi, Anita. 305 in the house.
Where's 305?
It's a Miami area code.
Okay, nice.
So
Come on, bro. You don't listen to Pitbull?
Huh?
You don't listen to Pitbull?
I don't listen to Pitbull. No.
305 in the house. No, yeah, you have either the 305 or the 786, or even if you're going up, to Fort Lauderdale, you have your 954. So usually here in Miami is 305. So it's kind of like a little thing here. When you say 305 in the house, that means it's one of your peaks here in Miami.
Oh, it's the same thing here in Houston. It's 713. So when you hear somebody say 713, that means you're representing Houston.
Gotcha.
Yanira Perez says, it's Jordan. I'm using her account.
Hi, Jordan.
Oh,
Yeah.
so we got several 305s in here. We got Hector or Hector from
Hector.
305. Yeah.
Hector's a good friend of mine, actually, from back in middle school, high school. I mean, we've just
that's cool.
been friends for a long time. And Jordan is he is the fiance of my cousin, so he's just recently started into cigars as well. And ever so often, he's new to the group for the Patreon. He's new to it, so he.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's just recently started, and he loves to know more about cigars. And ever so often, when I post something, he's like, "Oh my gosh, that looks good." Recently, he just sent me a picture of one that he was smoking. So he's getting in there, and I just love it because it's just one more thing that we have, as a family, that we could do together. Unfortunately, my family is against cigars, by the way, completely against cigars. So when I smoke, it's either by myself or with good friends, or even like soon it'll be my Jordan, because he's getting into it as well. So
I see your twin sisters in here.
Hey, hi, Jen.
How do you say her name? Jenilyn?
Jenilyn, you did it perfectly. Yeah, you said it perfectly.
And that's your sister?
Yeah, that's my sister.
Okay,
yeah.
So let me ask you: Is Jordan? Does Jordan know what Patriarchal Smoke Group is about and stuff?
Yeah, no, he knows. He definitely knows.
He's cool with that. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, far out. Very cool, man.
I'm making it sound like it's something bad. Like, hey, man.
Well,
does he know that I post pictures without shirts and stuff?
I figured that he says it because I'm the one that kind of sneaked my way in it. Like once again, I kind of look at your videos and I'm like, but I sneak my way into it because I'm not Christian, but I love learning about all different types of religions. And I was raised as Catholic. So it was
every Hispanic, every Latino is raised as a Catholic.
Catholic.
Everyone.
Well, so
Vic, I thank you so much for just allowing me in there and just being part of it. Because I mean, it's not only cigars, but it definitely has a lot of Christianity and everything that he does also with his with his show on your Tuesday shows. I've actually been listening to it as well, and it's just amazing. You just learn so much things that a lot of people, they're just so close-minded that they don't want to know, but it's just, why not learn about it?
There's something positive.
There's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of similarities that kind of make you, think and wonder, why is it that I believe this? Oh my gosh, he believes that, but it's pretty much the same thing. Or maybe it kind of leads to believe what I'm thinking maybe is not the right thing. Maybe that's kind of like, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool just to kind of like get to know a little bit of everything. So I love it.
I'll tell you, you are exemplary for the type of person that. So when I started the Patriarchal Smoke Group, I was hoping that I would get a mix of people from all kinds of beliefs or non-beliefs or whatever, so that we could engage in conversation. You and I have had some awesome conversations, and I'm just like, this is totally cool. You've taught me some stuff. I hopefully have taught you some stuff. And but for the most part, people hear that it has anything to do with religion, and they're like, no, I'm not interested. So I mean, that's cool. Everyone's in their own thing, but Kevin comes to it all the time. Kevin's not a believer, but he gives great comments and great feedback, and we're just able to have a dialogue, and I love that.
Definitely. You get that a lot, even with politics. You have the people who are open-minded and kind of like, okay, well, Republicans, Democrats, whatever, but they're the ones that are unfortunately are very close-minded, and they're set in their ways, and we respect that too. There's nothing wrong with that either. But it's just fun to be able to learn from each other. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This cigar, by the way, Vic.
Kevin says if I let him in, you're golden. He's like, I'll let anyone in. I want some Satanists in there, man. You like that cigar?
I love it. It's really, really good. You get a lot of sort of like I'm not sure if it's either walnut or peanut or something like towards the middle, like the second, third. but I love it. A nice little spice to it, which is complementing perfectly my bourbon. So I'm loving it. Definitely loving it.
Yeah, I've got to smoke the rest of those up because I bought them in that was the 28. So that's an annual release from Crown Heads, but every year it's different, and every year the band changes and stuff. And the cigar. So Las Calaveras is a tribute to someone in the cigar industry that passed away in the last year. So it sort of gives homage to someone who passed away.
Oh wow.
And they do a different cigar. That's the 2018, and I bought a box of them, and they're smoking real good right now. But I feel like they're starting to, like, I better smoke them because they're going to start going downhill from here.
How is it that you're able to know when they're not, when you need to start smoking them? That's one thing that I really, because I hear that a lot. You know, once they're too aged, it's not really a good thing. You want to age them
when they're too aged, I feel like the flavors that you're supposed to be getting start to fade away. So me personally, at 2 years of aging, maybe 3 years, that's probably the best time to smoke it. Some cigars, or if you even see them getting that nice oiliness on the outside of the wrapper, that's probably the best time to start smoking it. Because I've tried some that have been aged for years, 10 years, 9 years, 8 years, and the cigar is not as good as it should be.
Do you not recommend aging for longer than 5 years? Because I've heard of people putting things away and.
Yeah, there's a whole art to aging cigars. So typically, when you're aging cigars, you want to bring the temperature and the humidity down a little bit, like maybe in the low 60s range.
Okay.
But low to mid 60s range. But you don't want to go below that because basically what happens over time with the cigar, that the cigar has oils in it, the tobacco leaf has oils in it, and those oils over time just start to bleed out of the cigar, and that's what gives it its flavor. So if you wait too long, those oils have dried up, they've left the cigar and everything, and then you have a cigar that's not very good. A good example, so you'll get to know over time as you smoke some. So
and every cigar is different. That's for sure.
That's true. I bought a box of the Crown Heads Court Reserve 2018. When it came out, I bought a box of those, and they were good, but they were just a little. They were a little not too strong, but they just weren't right. I let the box sit for about 2 years, and then one day I felt like smoking one, so I grabbed one and smoked it, and it was freaking amazing. And I was like, okay, now's the time to smoke these because these are fabulous right now. That's another cigar. I still have like probably 25 of them that I've got to get smoked up before they get too old.
Yeah. And see, Robert just asked about the acid mink that we had done a review on, and that one was about, I think, let's see, he says 2 to 3 years. I think even longer than that. I can't remember, but I do remember that the reason it kind of tasted good was because it's an infused cigar, so you can still get the infusingness out of it. It wasn't as strong, but you can tell that there's a lot missing, or there's something missing out of that cigar just because it sat there too long. But it was still good. But I feel like it was that the infused part of it is what's made it taste better, because I can taste the age of it where it wasn't that good anymore. So it all depends on every cigar. There's some cigars that you can smoke them right away and they're always good. If you take a year, it's not as good. Some don't taste good right away. You age them for a year or two and they taste great. So you start to learn that process on each cigar that you smoke, and you're like, I like these in 2 years or in a year is the best time. It's like me with the Rocky Patel Vintage 1992. That I have to, every time I get it, I have to let it sit there in my humidor for at least a year and a half before it tastes good. Because if I smoke it right when I buy it, they never taste good.
Yeah. I recently smoked one. It was a little sweet. I loved it, but again, I'm still trying to kind of like understand the flavors and kind of see what's in my mind it's probably good, but then someone else might smoke it and be like, no, what are you talking about? Like, that's not good. You need to wait a little longer. You just said right now you should wait a little longer. But that series was actually, to me, I loved it, and I recently purchased it. I'm gonna try, because I have another one in my humidor. I'm gonna try actually leaving it there for a while so I can kind of compare
the difference.
I actually have one of these little books that I started. Once again, just looking at different, YouTubers. You should keep one of these little books and kind of like write little notes and all that stuff. I started doing all that stuff and keeping my bands. And
I got one too.
I'm gonna look at that.
Look, what?
Let me see.
What?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And here's my notes, so you can see I do the same thing. Here's some of my notes.
That's awesome.
With the band.
That's awesome. So I'm gonna actually go back to the Rocky Patel 1992 and kind of like check it out. Is it 92 or 82? I forgot now what it was.
92.
92. And
So
about a year from now. You're saying like, after a couple of year and a half.
About a year. If you hold it for about a year and a half, and you see that wrapper get real oily, man, that's the time to smoke that cigar. And I always do that with that cigar. Usually with the Robusto size, it's probably the best one. You get a bunch of flavor out of that.
What is the max? Like you both having so much experience on it already, what is the max that you would kind of tell someone that's still starting that you should age? If you have it already for 5 years, okay, that's not good. I mean, do you guys have some kind of max?
To me, it's 3 years. That's me personally. 3 years is the max.
I would say, since you're kind of starting out with it and all that, I would say don't even really think about aging cigars unless you get maybe you buy 2 or 3 cigars and you smoke one and you're like, wow, this is a little too much. There's just too much whatever. It can be too strong, too much whatever. Then let the other couple sit for at least a year, and then try it again, and you'll figure out your routine over time.
Okay.
You'll get to learn your cigars.
Everyone is different. Everyone's going to do something different, and that's fine, because everyone has their their own palate, their own whatever, and everyone will kind of learn their own way and stuff. I've got too many cigars right now, and I've got stuff that I'm like, man, if I don't smoke this soon, then 2 years from now when I get to it, I'm probably not even going to want it or something. So but so I have a question for you. When you talked a little bit about tasting the flavors, how more experienced people seem to have better palates and stuff, but you've got a food palate. And the one thing that I always try to relate to people about tasting flavors in cigars, generally, now this is my opinion, this is what I think, but generally, it's rare that you're going to actually get a real flavor out of a cigar aside from the tobacco. So like there's a cigar that's in my top 5 video that's coming out, where I distinctly get a hint of graham cracker in that cigar. Now it's not that I'm really tasting graham cracker, but whenever I eat, I like eating graham crackers from time to time, but I don't like how crunchy they are. So I do this weird thing where I'll put the graham cracker in my, I'll just kind of pinch it between my lips, and I'll blow warm air through it, and it just kind of softens it up a little bit. There's a I don't know, it's maybe a mixture of taste and smell that I get when I'm doing that. And that's the thing that I'm tasting in this cigar. So with regards to when you've been, the cigars you've been smoking lately and stuff, do you ever get something that just triggers a memory and you're like, oh, that's that food. That's that whatever.
Yeah, and that's the perfect word for it. It's a memory because it's not really a taste. It's not really like the actual flavor. It's a memory that kind of brings you back. One of the things in the culinary industry that kind of it's very potent. Let's just say it's very potent. You have your micros. Micros is pretty much like the sprouts of whatever it is. You know, whether it's celery, whether it's lavender, whether it's liquor, whatever. They're sprouts. So those first little sprouts, we go ahead and we put it on top of our plate just to garnish. But at the same time, it's to give it that extra like flavor. But it's so strong. It gives you that potent flavor that to me personally, I get that a lot. I get that, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, it tastes like I don't know." It tastes like what was a cigar that I recently told you I got like lavender out of it, or I got it was like beet sprouts. To me, it tasted like beet sprouts because that's what I'm used to, you know, tasting over there in the kitchen, and I get that. So pretty much it's just a memory of whatever it is that you kind of like. You know, you have your graham crackers, like you said. I personally don't not eat graham crackers much, but instead of graham crackers, I would probably be like, oh, it tastes like I don't know, like brown sugar, or it'll taste like
Right,
you know,
right.
or it'll taste like whatever. So with cigars, I've definitely felt that. I've gotten that mostly. To be perfectly honest, it's just that micros, that pungent sort of like grassy, either floral, either like I don't even know how to explain it. Once again, being a newbie to it, it's a little difficult to explain, but I just give the word of micros. And if you go to Whole Foods, or I'm not sure areas if Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or things like that, they usually have micros. If you get a little flavor of that, you'll be able to kind of get what I'm trying to get to, or what I'm trying to say.
Okay, how do you spell that? What is it?
It's MICROS.
Micros. Okay.
And usually it's just the sprout of whatever it is that you're growing.
Okay. Okay.
Just like your coladita, like we were mentioning about the Cuban coffee, those first little drops will give you such a nice flavor, such a nice, you know, for your nice, you know, your sugar. The same thing your sprouts do for the flavor of whatever it is, whether it's celery, whether it's beets, whether it's arugula.
Interesting. Interesting.
So you get that like really good flavor, and most of these cigars kind of give me that. It gives me that.
Very cool. That is so cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of like me, where sometimes I've gotten corn tortilla or on a cigar, or I've gotten beans, and I'm like, what the hell? I haven't even ate beans in a couple of days, and I've gotten like ranchero beans, and I'm like, what the hell? Actually, I think both of those times have been on a Crown Head cigars, and I'm tripping out, going, I can taste the like a natural corn, like a handmade corn tortilla when somebody makes it at home.
An
That's so
authentic
cool.
one.
Flavor before, and I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, that's crazy.
So freaking cool.
Your sister's asking, so would you consider pairing certain foods with cigars? Is that actually a thing? And
yes, it's definitely a thing. Look, right now, I haven't had a chance to do it, but I have my little granola. Let me see if I put it here. It has coffee beans in there, granola, different types of beans. It has cranberries, cashews, nuts, all that good stuff. So normally, that's my go-to. I love going to that because it kind of just, you know, gives you more of the nuances of whatever cigar you're having. Like I mentioned, also steak. You know, you have your shellfish is really good with it. But definitely, those types are up to now. That's what's been my favorite. Barbecue, like we mentioned as well.
Barbecue is amazing with cigars.
That smoky, like, you know, Caesar would say, smokiness of it.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
it just goes perfect with it. It goes absolutely perfect with it.
So that granola mix, you have actual whole coffee beans in there?
Yeah, well, it's like chocolate, sort of like beans.
Oh,
sure if you see it.
Yeah. So they're like chocolate covered coffee beans.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's so good. Oh my God, it's freaking good. I love it. So I go to that, or I go for any sort of like Cajun sort of like mix. I know a lot of people are against Indian food with cigars, what I've read, but I personally love Indian food
I
with cigars.
love Indian food.
I love Indian food. I don't know why they say that it kind of like gets you away from, the flavors of your cigar. I don't see it. I love it. It's perfect. That's
I've
spicy.
tried it. I don't like their food.
No,
Yeah.
it's so good.
You're racist.
I gotta make you some Indian food. I'll make you a believer. I'll make you a believer.
Oh man, I'm telling you, I love Indian food and Ethiopian food with the lentils and the lamb and stuff, and you eat it with your fingers. Everyone eats from the same thing with your fingers. I freaking love that.
Family style. It's awesome.
Yes,
it's awesome.
yes.
I love it. Is that what you do with what you hunt? Hi, Ron.
Ron says he's been drinking way more red wine lately. They work well with cigars. People overlook wine. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about, I don't drink, but I have a cigar on my top 5 that reminds me of a port wine that I bought for my dad a few years back.
Yeah. I can't do wine either. Robert says he can't do wine. I can't do wine. I always get like a note that I cannot stand from wine, which is like expired or rotten fruit, and I don't like it. I do not like it. So that's why
tannins probably.
I was just about. It's the tannins. It's the tannins of the wine.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of wine. There's someone that he was trying to teach me about wine and all that good stuff, but I never really got to it because for me it just gives me. I get dehydrated. The next day, the headache, the dehydration, all that stuff. To me, I personally don't. I'm not a fan of wine. But the tannins is actually what gets you that kind of flavor. But I'm not opposed to it actually. I've had a couple of cigars that with wine does taste really good. I mean, it will kind of be foolish for me to say no. I've actually had it, and mostly because my sister's actually also tried to get me into wine as well. And it's a good pairing. But I personally, I prefer my scotches with my bourbon, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I got a cabinet full of wine bottles, and I don't even touch them. They still haven't even been popped open or anything. I used to work at a shop. It was a German shop, so they would do Oktoberfest, and they would bring all the German beers and all that stuff, and they also had a wine tasting day there. And since I worked there, I was able to go and try it out, and they would give us free bottles, and I'll just bring them home and put them aside, and then whoever wanted to drink them, go ahead.
Yeah.
Cigar Man says he likes to pair a good moonshine with his cigars.
Moonshine is delicious. I love moonshine.
So what is moonshine? What's moonshine is typically clear, right? It's like really distilled.
It is, but you can get different flavors. I've tried pumpkin spice. I've tried peach.
Really?
Yeah, so all those are real good. They got them flavored, so it's not just alcohol, but it tastes real good.
Okay, that's interesting.
Usually get them in one of those mason jars.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I've gotten mine from.
Do you consider an aguardiente to be sort of like a moonshine?
What is that?
I don't think so.
Aguardiente. No.
That sounds water.
You know what? It probably is.
Listen, that's the strongest spirit I've personally ever had, and to me, it wasn't something that I would drink again. But I've heard that it's similar to a moonshine.
Yeah, if I think about it, yeah, it is a lot very similar because it's got a lot of alcohol. It's very strong.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think aguardiente is. I've only tried it like a regular moonshine without the flavor. What happened?
I just noticed the Robert.
Robert thinks he's going to find a toenail in his wine. I don't know, bro. What kind of wine are you drinking, man? That's the my mom used to drink this real cheap box stuff when I was a kid. Golly, what was it called? I can't remember. Anyways,
Zima.
Zima.
Oh my God, I haven't heard that drink in a long time. You don't even make that anymore.
Zima was like a wine cooler type of drink, wasn't it? Or,
I don't know. I never drank it, but I remember it was a blue label on it.
oh, you were a Zima boy. I know you were.
At that time, I was actually a Budweiser guy. That's all I drank.
Budweiser.
I don't drink that anymore.
Being that you like, because you're very into coffee. Very into coffee. Have you ever had the I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, the Kopi?
Oh, the cat crap coffee. No, I have not yet. It's something. It's on my bucket list. I got to try it one of these days. But you know, there's a lot of interesting. There's a coffee still made today. There's a the process is escaping me, but there have been years, many years ago, like 200 years ago or something like that. They were transporting goods on, you know, open wooden ships, and they had coffee in the burlap sacks up on top of the deck of the ship, and you know, the sea salt, the salt air from splashing the water and all this stuff would they wouldn't get soaked, but you'd get the mist coming over these coffee beans, and then when they started curing the coffee and then roasting it, they were like, okay, this tastes really different from the coffee usually did, and they discovered that, oh, it's because of this process or this accidental thing that happened on the ship. So there's I can't remember what country it is, but there's a country where they've got these big they're kind of like tobacco barns, really. They'll pile up the coffee beans, and they spread them out all over the floor, and all the walls are open, and they have the building up close to the seashore, so that moist sea air, ocean air, will rush over the beans, and it's part of the process. And they'll do this for months and months before they roast the coffee, and it just gives the coffee a really unique flavor.
That's so cool. That is super cool. Yeah, I mean, that'd be awesome. I was just, I mean, the coping thing was the first thing that came to mind, because I know you're so into coffee and all that stuff. I've heard that it's also very expensive, all that good stuff, but
it is.
Yeah, I would like to try it though. I mean, I don't care if it's you know poop from cat or a monkey or whatever it is, but it'll be kind of cool to kind of taste it and see what it's all about. I don't know.
I think it'd be.
What are you guys talking about? You know, cat poop shit. Like, I don't know. Why not? Why not? You know.
When it comes to coffee, I'm into everything. I mean, that's really, I'm more of a coffee guy than I am a cigar guy. When I travel, the first thing I do is I look up what coffee bars are around, and I try to find the little hole in the wall places that roast their own coffee and stuff. Just, you know, I try to mix it up all the time. I order coffees from all over the place. I've ordered specific coffees from Europe and stuff before, just because they talk about different, process of roasting it and all that. But yeah, I love coffee, and for me, the best beverage to go with the cigar is coffee. But I talked about this in one of my videos where I don't think there is really a best beverage when it comes to, you know, you talk about your wines, you talk about your whiskeys or bourbons, whatever, rums, or coffee or whatever, and cigars. All of those things are earth-born products, right? They're
Yeah.
made from the earth. It's grown and stuff. So I think naturally all those things complement each other just because they came from the same place.
I agree. Definitely. So one question that I had for you guys, and I know I've asked it before, but being still that I'm definitely a newbie. I'm trying to get into this. What events? I know with COVID right now, a couple of them got, canceled and all that good stuff. But what is it that what events do you recommend, honestly, for someone to just go to?
Definitely, I think the barn smoker ones, and they have one in Florida, so it'll be close to home for you. There's
The
one
Drew
in
Estate Barn Smokers.
Yeah, and the Louisiana one. But I believe that barn smoker is probably one of the best ones to go to.
There's an event every year, Jenisse, right in your area. It's in Miami, called, I think it's called the Black Smoke or Black Smoke or something like that.
I think it's the Big Smoke. Adam Wolf. I think it's the same, or Adam.
No.
Yeah.
There's
He
the
was
big.
telling me about that one. This is the Big Smoke.
There's the Big Smoke, but that's a different one. This is another one that happens every year in Miami. I want to say it's called. Somebody in the chat help me out. You know what I'm talking about. If Lee Mack was here, he'd pipe right in because it's one that he's talked about going to before. But I think that'd be a cool one to check out. But honestly, probably the best ones to get the real experience of cigars and the culture and the industry of growing them and everything is any one of the barn smokers. So the barn smokers are put on by Drew Estate, and they put them on in different states, and they're states that have something to do with growing and or curing the tobacco that goes into the Drew Estate cigars and stuff. And I haven't been to one yet, but I think that probably hands down those are the best ones to go to.
Awesome.
Yeah, I see that it's the Black Smoke. Cowboyism said that.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that's what it was. That's a pretty big event that goes on every year in Miami.
How about international? Like, because I see that people sometimes go to Nicaragua, they go to Dominican Republic and stuff like that. I mean, do you guys know of any specific ones that I should probably put in my bucket list?
Well, if you can work it out sometime, just go on one of the cigar safaris. Either Drew Estate or Camacho does one. They call it Camp Camacho, but basically you go down to the farm, and from what I understand, they treat you great. It's all food and libations and cigars. The entire usually they're like 3 or 4 days long, and they take you on tours through the growing process, through the factories, just everything, and they treat you like royalty.
That's so cool. And you call it cigar safaris?
So the general term for them is cigar safaris, but I think specifically that's what Drew Estate calls theirs.
Nice.
But cigar safari basically is going to the country, Dominican Republic, Honduras, Nicaragua, and going to one of the farms and getting their whole. I'll tell you one that I'd like to do. Nick Perdomo does one. I don't know how often he does them, but Nick Perdomo from Perdomo Cigars does a really good one. And that guy, he is one of the cigar industry has totally changed because of Nick Perdomo. He has introduced things that were never done before. He invented processes and stuff, and the guy's super smart, great family guy, and I would love to go check out the Perdomo things sometime.
That'd be so cool. I see a lot of his videos also. He's so detailed. He shows you around this factory, and he tells you how one thing is fermented and what how the actual leaves are cultivated, all that good stuff. I mean, I just find it absolutely fascinating. He's crazy.
Yes, Stephen Walters just said the factory tours are awesome in Nicaragua, either Perdomo, Drew Estate, La Zona. So Stephen Walters, he's part of Patriarchal Smoke, and he would be a person to ask about that because he does them regularly. He makes pretty frequent trips.
It looks like he paused. Oh, there he goes.
Oh,
So I guess
yes.
Thank you, Stephen. My next question, I guess, would be, sometimes I'm looking at reviews and I notice that within the week or the week and a half or whatever, everyone's doing the same review for the same either cigar or a humidor, what have you. How authentic is it? Do you feel, coming from someone that's actually looking at these reviews to get information, to see what's legit, what's not legit? Sometimes I fear that it's just like a gimmick, sort of like that they're trying to, have you purchased something? I mean, what is the authenticity behind these reviews sometimes?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. Caesar, go ahead. What do you think?
You give it to
No,
me.
I have an answer, but I want Caesar.
Go
to
ahead.
answer
I want to hear yours.
I see Caesar. I see the bus, going through here. He just pushed you right on.
Yeah, he's just like, bam. Go ahead.
Go.
I love it.
I guess everybody's different. I mean, the authenticity. I mean, it all depends on the channel, on the person. You can see some channels, they're probably making up stuff, kind of like what Ron Real was saying earlier on the chat, where people are just making up notes and flavors. Some of that, they make up stuff to where you're like, what is that? Something out in the mountains that nobody has probably ever tasted. How the hell did you taste that? Like what? Yeah. So you got to look at some of the reviewers and give you the actual notes that typically everybody talks about, your chocolates and your leathers and your cocoa or whatever, and some will be different. Like sometimes I'll smoke a cigar, Kevin or Ron or Vic, we'll all smoke that same cigar, and we all get different notes, but somewhat kind of similar to some of them. You know what I mean? So it all depends on your palate. So everybody's got a different palate. And I just say is, man, whoever you like or your palate's similar to, that's probably the guy that's more authentic to you. And that's what I think you should just follow and stick to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think some of what you've seen is because a lot of the reviewers want to be either first or very early in reviewing a new cigar that comes out. So everyone rushes to review the new Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust cigar, something from Steve Saka, or the new Drew Estate. Everyone rushes to do that. And I, this past year, I made a decision to no longer review cigars on the first cigar. I'll smoke it a couple times before I review it because, just because so much can go into that first time you smoke it. And if you're putting it on camera, it's like, okay, maybe a lot of times if I'm in a really bad mood, my bad mood can affect the cigar. And I won't like the cigar because I'm in a bad mood. But then later on, I'll smoke it when I'm in a good mood and I have a totally different experience. Yeah. So I think there are a lot of guys. Ron's absolutely right. There are a lot of guys that just pull stuff out of their butt, and they're just trying whatever. I don't know why they do it. I've always been a very sensory sort of person. I'll give you guys an example. Something that's really weird. Back in the 80s, when the Walkman with a little cassette deck you carry with you.
Yeah.
Hate carrying that thing.
Yeah, it was all the rage, right? Anytime I bought a new cassette, and I did this, I always do this with CDs as well. The first thing I do when I opened a new cassette was I took it out, I put the cassette down, I pulled the J card out, and I smelled the J card because for some reason the J cards always smelled like Taco Bell tacos to me.
What the hell?
And so it was
that's
fake.
how you know how fake Taco Bell food is.
Yeah. So a lot of times when I'm talking about wood notes and I'll mention specific woods, the only reason why I can mention specific woods is because I work a lot with wood. I chop a lot of different, I've got black walnut, oak, juniper. Of course, we all know cedar because cedar's in the boxes and stuff. But when I'm chopping juniper, after I've been processing juniper wood all day, you just have to walk by my wood barn, my wood shed, and the air is filled with this aroma of juniper, and it's kind of a mix of cedar, but it's a different smell than cedar. So as I work with those, sometimes when I'm smoking cigars, it goes back to that memory thing. I get something that reminds me of that smell or that whatever from the wood. Yeah. And so I'll say, oh, I taste oak in this because I know what oak is like. I work with it a lot.
Yeah. It's something like whenever I get some, I've gotten this note a lot of times is where I get, the smell when it rains and it hits the concrete and you can smell it, but kind of taste it and it smells good. But then you get it on your cigar and going, how the hell am I getting this? But it tastes good. Yeah, I mean, that's something a lot of people actually get, that note, when it rains a little bit and you get that smell, or when it hits your grass or your dirt and you can get that note and you get it on your cigar, then that's a note that everybody can kind of understand and taste, you know what I mean? But when somebody says something like, oh, it tastes like, rain from Mars, then how do you know what rain from Mars tastes like, But when you see a lot of reviewers that smoke or review the same cigar at the same time, a lot of times because either it just got released or Drew Estate or a company sent those cigars out to a bunch of YouTubers to review, and we're all just trying to, knock it out. But I've done it to where I've gotten some of the stuff and I see 3 or 4 guys already post it. So I'm like, I'll just hold back a little bit, maybe a couple of months, and then I'll put it out, since there's already like 5 or 6 that everybody just did at one time, and I'll just post something different. But yeah, that's just me.
No, I'm glad you said that, because honestly, to a newbie, it could kind of be like, are they going, are they paying them for it? Are they not paying them for it? Are they really giving you the real, And then I've seen a couple of reviewers that you never have anything negative to say about a cigar. I mean, how can you not have anything negative to say about a cigar?
Well, you also got to look at some of the channels. Some channels might have a cigar store or something where they sell cigars. And if they're going to review a cigar, they cannot say anything negative about that cigar, because they might lose that company and not be able to sell anymore, or they'll probably get chewed at for talking bad about their cigar. And they want to sell, so they're not going to say nothing negative about the cigar if they want to sell the cigar. You know what I mean? So to me, I would watch those guys. I do watch them. I listen to them. But the ones I really care about is the people that will say something bad about a cigar because they have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So that's probably the best thing to do.
Yeah, that's why I honestly love you boys, and I love Lee Mac as well, Ron. Like, you guys are legit. Like, I could look at the reviews and just know that if I purchase the cigar the next day, it's gonna be exactly what you guys are saying, or I'm gonna get new flavors and nuances out of it, but it's gonna be pretty much around that ballpark. You know what I mean? Like, some other ones that kind of like, I've looked at it and I kind of shy away from it because you don't see that authenticity on it. It's a gimmick, or they're just being paid for it. And it's hard. It's hard to actually kind of like choose which ones you want to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and be sort of selective with the reviewers, because you'll some people you just like. It might not have anything to do with the cigar. You just like them. You like their presentation or whatever. There's a couple reviewers that I've stopped following because I'm not into their style. There's one guy in particular, I won't mention names, but there's one guy in particular who talked with a lot of confidence, like he knows what he's talking about and everything. And I listened to him. I'm like, this guy is full of crap. And I just like stopped following him and stuff because I was like, I could call BS on a bunch of stuff this guy says.
Yeah.
But you know, it's not worth it. You know, let him do his thing. I'll do my thing. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's on the other side of it. It's really interesting to watch all these different people and get such different experiences. You know, get their. Ron and I have had totally different experiences from stuff, but at the same time, Ron and I have very similar palates. So generally, I trust what Ron Real when he says something's good. By the way, I wanted to. This was in the latest Black Label or Black Lion Luxuries. This was one of Ron's. It's an H Upman 175. I can't wait to smoke this. I
couldn't see it either. I ain't got glasses.
I'm like, hold on. Wait a minute. Let me see.
But this one was sent to me by Jenisse. Jenisse sent this to me, and I didn't smoke this tonight, Jenisse, because I wanna do a review on this.
Okay.
And it's the only one I've got. It's the only time I'll smoke it. So I'm gonna break my protocol. But this is that clown cigar.
Oh, that's cool.
Ever since this started hitting Instagram and everything, I was just interested in it because it's a barber pole and because it's got a really cool band on it. Who knows if it's going to be good or not? You said it was a pretty good cigar.
I liked it. Watch you freaking hate it, and you're like, what the hell are you talking about? Like seriously, I don't even want you a part of my viewers. But I honestly, I liked it. I liked it a lot. So I hope you have the same experience or even better than what I had. So for sure.
I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. Super cool.
Yeah. Ron says he loves the Upman 175th. I tell you, Ron, I'm looking forward to it, dude. I was excited to see that in there.
By the way, now that you just mentioned Ron, I recently became a member of the Black Lion Luxuries Cigars.
Oh, nice.
Oh my gosh, I'm looking forward to my next pack. I'm so excited. I had purchased the code because for me it's a little difficult. I like to actually purchase first a couple of cigars, see how it comes in. If they give me a little humidity pack, if they do what the packaging is all about, how they smoke. So immediately when I purchased a couple of them from Black Lion Luxury, I noticed with my little humidimeter, which Vic was like, "Oh, you need to get one. You can get one." I purchased one, and all of them were ready to smoke immediately. All of them were ready to smoke, and just that, and the way that they packaged it and everything, it was just, to me, it was so amazing that I became a member. And I'm just waiting for my first pack, so I'm super excited. And yeah.
Oh, they just changed their packaging, so they're sponsored by. Help me out, Ron. I don't remember the company, but they've got new, really nice, sort of thick foil. The bags are a lot better than they had before, and it's like a Boveda pack that comes in it, but it's plant based. It's not Boveda. It's a plant based.
Human Smart.
Human Smart.
Yeah, Human Smart.
Yeah,
Human Smart. That's true. It's a little white. Thing that you literally feel it, and it doesn't feel like it has any liquid in it, nothing. You're like, what's in it, at all. But legit, I just got them. I put my humidity meter in there, and everything was ready to smoke. I just loved it so much that I have to be a member. So yeah, now I'm part of the member. I'm waiting for my first pack. I'm super excited.
So you just joined that BLL?
Yeah, I got them last week. They opened on the 16th of December. I'm not sure if they're going to be open for long or if they closed the membership for a while now, but on the 16th of December, they were open, and I went ahead and I subscribed. So I became a member, and I'm waiting up for my package. So
the package that comes in the package that comes in January is going to feature a cigar that Ron had something to do with the blending of the cigar and stuff. And it was supposed to come out in the December package, but they got held up or something because of COVID and that. So it's going to come out in January, but I'm looking forward to that one, seeing what comes in that pack.
How exciting. That's another, I mean, that was my next question. As reviewers being in this industry for so long, what memberships do you recommend? What do you look for? What is it that you don't look for? I mean, what will get you actually to become a member of an actual, you know?
I think it all depends on what you're looking for. You can't really, I can't really tell you what to pick out because I look at different ones. Like you have, what is that? Man, what is that one? We just had him on the show not too long ago. What's his name?
Who do we have on the show?
I think he was the first one we had on the show.
Oh, the first one, that was Privada Cigar Club.
Privada, there you go. I don't know why I can remember. Privada Cigar Club. And if you're looking at something that's unique and you can't find nowhere else, then that's something to go to. But then again, once you smoke that cigar, you might be able to get it one or two more times, or who knows how many more times on their website. But you're not going to find that cigar at your local shop or online or anything like that. But when you have something like Black Lion Luxury, or even like what's that other cigar club, Corona Cigars, or
Corona does it. Smoke In. Smoke In is a good one.
Yeah, Smoke In. They have cigars that you can find anywhere. And that's what I like about those kind of clubs, because if I like something, I'm able to find it, you know. So it all depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah. See, I with the Privada, I love them, by the way, and I have a double pack that comes to me just because I want to be able to have not only the one that I'm smoking, but just an extra one, because I know they're so limited, they're so exclusive, they're so like you'll never be able to find them, they're rare. So I have a double pack from them, and I love them. I love that sort of like exclusive, you know, sort of you'll never be able to smoke it type of thing. You know, I love that kind of theory behind their kind of membership, so I have them. I also have now the Black Lion Luxuries, and you know, I know there's a couple of other ones that I've seen that give you samplers, that give you this, that give you that. So I'm not quite sure if there's one that you probably go to. I know that Martin Amaya has also his, so I'm looking at that as well. So I don't know. It's just for a newbie, once again, what is it you should look for, what you don't look for. You know, there's a couple of them that, you know, might give it to you and they don't have the humidity pack in there, or they're not. I'm sorry, I'm looking at place, but there was a cigar that I recently had, which I posted on a group chat, and it literally tastes like crap. It tastes like crap, and I got a lot of feedback that it wasn't humidified correctly. It was just, and that's how you get. I think Vic, you told me that it gets a couple of what are those foods that you mentioned? When you get that sort of like flavor in it, that it tastes like rancid. It tastes like acid.
Yeah, it's so a lot of times if a cigar is over humidified, you'll get a lot of bitterness out of it.
That's what it was.
Yeah, that's why I prefer my cigars down around like 62, 63%. I'll go up to 67. That's no problem. But you get much above that, and a lot of times you'll start to have burn problems. You'll almost definitely have bitterness issues where the cigar, maybe it doesn't start off bitter, but by the time you get like the halfway point or something, you got to start smoking it a lot slower, because you feel like if I draw on this too much, it's edging on bitterness and stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, I think I've been in 5 different clubs now, and my favorite is Privada, just kind of for the same reason that you said. I like the exclusiveness. I like the mix up, and he's got a lot of stuff on the store, on the shop page now that you can still pick up. Uh-oh, we're having problems here. Oh no.
What happened?
Is this on my end?
Probably, because we're good over here.
I'm good over here too.
I'm losing everyone.
No. If you leave, we'll still be here. No, but on the cigar clubs, like myself, it took me a long
Hold
time
on.
to find a cigar club because, like you said, you're trying to find something that fits you and what you like. And I looked at Privada. I've looked at Stogie Birds. I've looked at one called Cigar Club. I've looked at Corona. I've looked at a bunch of them, and Corona was probably gonna be one of the ones I was gonna go to, and Stogie Birds. But what I really liked about Black Line Luxury is that you get some real high end cigars that you can still
Yeah.
find, and you still get them for a good price. And sometimes for me, when I go to the cigar shop, I'm in and out. I know what I'm getting, and sometimes I'm like, man, the money I got in my pocket or whatever it is, I can't buy a $20 cigar right off the bat, or two $20 cigars or $30 cigars. But with that club, at least I know I'm gonna get something like that or near it at least once a month, and that's what I like about that club, and it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Black Line is
I love
killing it. They're actually really doing good.
Yeah. With a couple of the reviews that I've watched, it's just a variety. They have different variety, and it's not just the same, they'll have different wrappers, they'll have different, blends, it's not just the same thing all the time. So that actually is what, intrigued me into becoming also a member of them. So yeah, once again, I'm just excited to get that first pack and see what it's all about. For sure.
And it just knowing that Ron has a lot to do with that club, with him picking out the cigars, helps a lot because he's got a great palate, and a lot of the stuff he likes, I tend to like as well. So it helps a lot.
Rob just threw us $2 on the show. That's cool. Thanks, brother.
Speaking about Ron, since I have him online, Retro Hales. I know that we recently spoke about Retro. There was a video recently also about Retro Hales. How many times do you recommend a Retro Hale, or should you do it all the time? How do you guys feel about Retro Hales?
It's all up to you, honestly. It's all what you can handle, what you want. I do it at every single puff. I retro hale. I'll retro hale a little bit or a lot. It all depends on how strong the cigar is out of the retro hale. If you're if you're a newbie on retro haling, I recommend going very slow. Usually puff out most of the smoke and then let out the last of it, and do it slowly so it won't burn your nose. Yeah, because a lot of times when I first started, I'm like, holy crap, and I'll feel it, and my eyes would get all watery and stuff. Yeah. But I kept doing it to where now they really don't bother me at all. But I do it all the time. But at the same time, I used to be a big cigarette smoker because when I was in the
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I used to be in the music business. I didn't smoke daily. I smoked on the weekends. When I was in the music industry, I would be nervous because I was the one that would, make an event, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching people walk in, and I'm nervous. I'm smoking. I'm watching the crowd coming in, and I'm hoping that I get enough crowd to be able to make enough money to pay certain things and stuff like that. So I'll smoke a whole pack in just one night just because I'm so nervous. But I would always retro hale. It was natural to me. So whenever I smoked cigarettes, cigars, it came really easy to me to just do a retro hale. So that's why I retro hale every single time. But you don't have to do it all the time. You can do it once in a while, do a little bit at a time. Once you get comfortable, do a little bit more and a little bit more. And it's all up to you.
Ron says he does it about 80 or 90% of the time, and I probably do it. I don't know. I think I maybe do it about 75% of the time. So it took me a while to learn how to retro hale. Once I really the first real retro hale that I did was a cigar that I had smoked quite a few of, and I was blown away. I was like, holy crap, there are flavors here that I was not getting.
Yeah.
So
that's another thing. You'll find a whole different world on notes when you retro hale.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, just there's definitely, and sometimes you'll get a cigar that you'll be like, it's a good cigar. There's nothing great about it, but then you'll retrohale it, and you'll pick out one or two flavors that just really are accentuated through the retrohale. And so you'll smoke that whole cigar, so retrohaling every puff and stuff. I think it's a game changer. Like Ron said, it's a game changer. It really introduces you to new things in the cigar.
What about the aftermath? Because maybe it's because I'm not doing it correctly, or I'm still trying to get, sometimes I notice that when I usually retro maybe about 40% of the time.
Okay.
I'll try to do it a little bit more. I notice that the next morning I'm feeling a little bit of a throat kind of like strain or what have you. So, or your sinuses are acting up, all that stuff. So is that something that you also go through, or is it because I'm probably not doing it right?
Do you have a lot of allergies?
I mean, it's Miami, so we have a lot of allergens around the area.
Yeah.
So I'm sure. I mean, me personally, I have allergies. So maybe that could be the reason.
That might be the reason. I don't get that, but I know, like my wife, when she's around me, and she's not smoking, she gets the same thing you do, and she's not even smoking. Mm-hmm. So and she has a lot of allergies. Like yesterday, all she was doing was sneezing. And I'm going, man, are you all right? And she's just like, man, my allergies are going crazy. Uh-huh. But when I'm smoking the next morning or that same night, she's got what you're saying, to where she feels it right here, and she feels all stuffed up and stuff like that. So that might be a reason why.
Got it. So it's not really that I'm doing something wrong. Maybe it's just the allergies type of thing.
Yeah, I noticed when I first started doing it, for the first couple months, I would get a little bit of a scratchy throat, or I didn't really notice anything with my sinuses, but that went away. Now it doesn't bother me at all. I generally smoke maybe 5 or 6 cigars a week. But like on the weekends, sometimes after I've been working all day, I'll smoke one during the day, and then later on that night, I'll smoke one and stuff. If I have 3 or 4 cigars in a day, which is very rare for me, then it doesn't matter. That wipes me out. I can't do too many cigars in a day.
Now, as a newbie, when I first started, the only thing I remember happening to me when I smoked cigars had nothing to do with that, but it was mainly, even though I washed my mouth after I smoked, and I use scope or whatever to rinse my mouth and brush my teeth, the next morning my mouth feels like I just smoked a cigar. I mean, I can taste it, and I can brush my teeth again in the morning, and I can still taste that cigar. It happened when I first started for a good while. And sometimes I actually like the way it tasted. I'm like, man, that cigar must have been a real good cigar yesterday, because it's like right now I need to go get some more. And some of them, like, oh man, I need to get this taste off of my mouth, but I don't get that anymore. And that's one thing I kind of do miss is getting that the next morning, because I don't get it anymore. I can smoke a cigar too, and the next morning it's like I didn't even smoke a cigar. But that's the only thing I remember as a beginner, is having that aftertaste the next morning.
So, Jenisse, what kind of okay, so you're at your restaurant right now, you are a sous chef? Okay, and what is a sous chef?
Okay, so there's different. Okay, so you first start as a cook, then you go for lead cook, then your kitchen supervisor, then you have your sous chef, then you have your executive sous chef. I'm actually an executive sous chef for this bistro that I'm at. At the Hard Rock, I was a sous chef. I had 2 other co-sous chefs as well, because of the amount of covers that we do a day. You just need that extra help. Then you have your executive, and then it just keeps going up. So as a sous chef, pretty much, or an executive sous chef, you have to take care of not only the training of your staff, making sure that everything is consistent. You also have you need to do your different menus, if you have something that you want to go ahead and present to your your guest that is something different, something that wows aside from your menu, you go ahead and take care of that. Your orders, your inventory. I mean, it's just so many things involved. Creativity and once again, passion is the number one thing to be able to get to that level. And so one of the things that I'm very proud of where I'm at right now is actually getting the newbies in the industry to get to my level. And that's basing everything on teaching them how to taste, teaching them how you're able to kind of mix one flavor with one flavor and get something completely different. The industry back in the day was very, how do I say it? It was just one thing. I'm not sure if I'm explaining myself correctly, but now everyone is so open-minded. Everybody wants to taste something so different that you're able to kind of mix one thing with another and make it so fun that it treats these guests and be like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Let me go ahead and taste that. So you always have to be thinking of new ways to be able to bring that guest over and just wow them with flavor, wow them with technique, wow them with, even the presentation. Presentation is, you eat with your eyes. We fall in love with our eyes as well. We see someone where, wow, he's so beautiful. Wow, he's beautiful. With that, you kind of just keep going. You see with food, you see the plate, you see it's so beautiful. The presentation is great. The flavor needs to be on as well. So it's just teaching them also how to get there. In the cigar world, I see it the same way. I look up to you, and I ask you all these questions because I want to get my to that point. I want to be able to know what flavors, mix well with what drinks, what pairings, all that good stuff. So the same thing with the industry. You want to be able to teach the cooks to be able to get to that level of creativity, that level of presentation and passion, all that good stuff. So that's what the sous chef is all about. And it gets better, with the executive sous, with your food and beverage director, all that good stuff. So yeah,
wow.
It's a lot. It's a lot into it.
So is there, holy crap, Danny.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Danny.
Danny just threw us $10, man. That is awesome.
Hi, Danny.
Thank you, bud. So I know that, some chefs, like you'll have chefs that specialize and their thing is pastries or whatever. What's your thing that you're kind of, that you excel at?
I want to say fusion because it's mixing all different cultures into one dish. I love bringing Peruvian cuisine with Caribbean cuisine and just kind of mix them together. You're American with it kind of brings that person that's so used to, for example, myself, I'm Cuban. So all, when I was raised, it was all, your pork, your rice, your beans, your I don't know, your ropa vieja, which is sort of like a shredded meat with tomato paste, all that good stuff. But if you mix it with Peruvian, if you mix it with Asian, if you mix it with something, you have like this total new world, and you kind of like it's amazing. It's like this flavor bomb. You know what I mean? So I love the fact that you're able to do that fusion and bring together and just be like, wow, I never thought that my authentic, cultural sort of like dish would taste this amazing by adding just one component of some other cultural flavor, and that's what I love. I love just experimenting.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's really cool, man. And so you here, I don't remember if it was in the virtual lounge or someplace. You were telling me about a dish, or maybe it was a sauce. I was going to ask you for the recipe, and now I can't remember what it was. Gosh darn it.
I can't remember either. I'm sorry.
I'll have to go back. I think it was. You were telling me, anyways. That fusion style. So there's a place here in Phoenix called Chino Bandinos, and they do a fusion of Mexican food with Mexican food with Chinese food. I think it's Chinese, Asian
That's
food.
legal.
And it's a little hole in the wall sort of place, but oh my gosh, the food is just amazing. And
Those are the best. The hole in the walls are the best because
Yes.
it's so authentic.
Yes.
They put their love into it. Honestly, it's a lot of people go for more like commercial, restaurants stuff like that. I personally like going to those hole in the walls because you know you're gonna get that real flavor in there.
Danny Crook says ours is French Vietnamese fusion. Wow, that sounds crazy. Food
Wow.
comes from parts of Vietnam colonized by the French. Flavors are so vibrant. It's like Matt Booth blending with Caldwell. That's cool.
Love it. Love it.
Oh no, it wasn't the pepper sauce. Although now that you mentioned the pepper sauce, that I want you to give me a recipe for that. That sounds amazing. But
I'll send it to you.
Adam, it was. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I'm pretty sure it was in the virtual lounge. You popped in for a few minutes, and gosh dang it, I wish I could remember because it really sounded good.
Well, if it's a peppercorn sauce, I'll shoot you the recipe definitely.
Okay, cool.
Well, one thing that Vic didn't know that me and Jenisse spoke about a while back is I used to work at, my first job was a dishwasher at a country club, a golf country club.
Okay.
And I worked myself up from being a dishwasher all the way up to a prep cook. And I was dressed like a chef with the long hat and being out there and, getting the food prepped up for the chef. And there would be a lot of times where they would ask me to go up there in front with the chef and cook the food with the chef right next to the chef, flipping the food and doing all this stuff and cooking whatever people are asking, like Italian food and all that, whatever was on the menu at that time. So I did it for quite a bit, and it was an experience, but that went away. I told her the story. I don't want to.
So
No, you should. That was awesome.
Well, hold on a second. So what is a prep cook?
All I did was just prep the food, like cut the meats, the vegetables, the onions, whatever needed to be prepped up for the cook to be able to cook it. I'm sitting there chopping everything up, getting everything prepped. Basically, that's what I was doing. There will be times where I would have to go up there and cook it as well with the chef, and he'll just tell me, do this, do that before we go out there, and you're good. I'm like, all right. So I'll sit there and I'll start cooking in front of the people, and it's a country club that's here in Houston that was a very exclusive country club where you had people like Oscar de la Hoya,
cool,
George Foreman, Hakeem Olajuwon, Nolan Ryan, like all these sports figures showing up.
Were you using the Foreman grill?
No. No, I don't. That didn't even exist when I was doing that. So no. But it was quite an experience, man. And seeing all these stars, all these sports figures and stuff like that, I would have.
So cool.
I had my chef hat signed by all these stars. So every time I knew somebody was there, I would go grab that hat and have them sign it. I'll put it up and use another chef hat and. That
cool.
was it was pretty cool. It was full of signatures, man. It was a lot of big stars and that showed up there. A bunch of Hall of Famers and stuff. They would have like Hall of Fame parties and stuff like that too. So it was awesome.
So what's the backstory? What happened?
You don't want to know.
Say it.
Come on.
Oh man. Okay, so. It's a long story, but I'm gonna try to cut it short. I went up from it was me and my cousin. We started off as dishwashers, and we would spend all day at work, especially during the holidays. You work from 6 a.m. till 6 a.m. And it was fun. I liked it because all the guys there. It was like family. Then the main cook, the main guy leaves. Go somewhere else, and there's a new cook that shows up and changes everything. and he drops me back down to being a dishwasher, including my cousin, and brings his own guys, to take our spot. And he would do certain things to piss me off, to just get me out of there. It was to a point to where, man, when you're a dishwasher and you got to wash all these dishes and you got all these silverware and you got to run them through. I mean, there are racks with like 200-300 silverware, and you got to wash them and throw them through the machine. They come out and you got to, they're clean. But he would go over there and after they'll come out, one time he came up there and he's like, "Hey, did you just wash these?" I'm like, "Yeah, they're clean, they're good." And he's like, "They're still dirty." So I'm like, "All right, cool, I'll wash them again." So I cleaned them up, washed them up, threw them through the machine. Same thing. He happens to pop up whenever they came out, and he's like, he came up to me like 3 times and told me they were still dirty. So in my mind, and he's already raising his voice, going, "These are still dirty," talking, with an attitude. So now I'm getting pissed off. I'm like, this guy's picking on me, but I need to make sure he's really picking on me. So I grabbed every single spoon, fork, knife, and washed them by hand, one by one. I didn't care how stacked. I had dishes on my side that were stacking up, hundreds of plates and pots and all that stuff that I needed to wash. But I'm like, this guy is picking on me, and I'm already pissed off because he's making me do this. So I started doing one by one. I ran them through finished, and I ran them through the machine. And when they went through the machine, he walks up, he sees them, he's like, "Why the fuck are these still dirty? These are still fucking dirty." And he throws them on the ground and they fall all over the kitchen ground. And he's like, "Pick them up and wash them again."
Yeah. So
that to me was like, hell no, this guy is really, fucking with me. He's picking on me. Yeah. So I told him, fuck you, you pick them up and you wash them. And he gets in my face. And, from there, I punched him and we started fighting in the kitchen.
That's horrible. You know what's crazy? Like
I took off my chef, my
your fancy hat.
You know what? And it's funny because I feel like he was really fucking with us because at the same time he would still let me wear my chef coat and everything, but I'm washing dishes. You know what I mean? And I was like, this guy is really trying to like.
Yeah, he was picking on you.
Yeah, he was really picking on me, trying to get me out of there, and he got to where I ended up, hitting him, and I quit.
And you lost your job. You quit.
Well, I quit before he told me you're fired. So he was still on the ground. I got up and I took off. But I had some fun, man. I had a lot of fun working there. There were certain times where there'll be like a waiter or something. They needed somebody because somebody was out, and everything was clean. I was good, and they're like, "Hey, give me a hand here and there." So I'll go out there and give these guys a hand and go out there waiting. And these women are drunk, older women with tons of money, man. And they would go in there, and I'll go up to the table and give them their food or whatever they order, or ask them something. They'll try to give me a tip, but they wouldn't give it to me in my hand. They would want to put it in my pocket. And every time they put it in my pocket, they would reach over for something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they would try to grab me, and I'm like, what the hell? And while all the other waiters are inside the kitchen watching through the doors where there's a glass, and they're laughing. I mean, they're laughing. And I'm going in there. They're like, they got you too. They're like, dude, don't say nothing. Just leave it as it is. It is what it is. They're drinking. They're tipping you. Just be cool about it.
Yeah.
And they were older women, and they're like, "Oh, I want to take you home," and blah blah, and saying all these stuff, and I'm just like, "What the hell?" But it was a lot of fun. That's the thing. It was a lot of fun.
The industry is it's like Cesar just said, it's a lot of fun. Coming from the banking world and property management and all that stuff, you got to be so business proper. As soon as I got into this industry, I started saying all these bad words. I started, because you're in a different vibe. So now it's like I have a trucker's mouth. I don't even know. I don't think I've said many bad words in this video, but usually I say a lot of bad words. I have a filter out, but it's because of the industry, because you're so like comfortable. You know what I mean? You're able to be, different. So it's a lot of fun. Definitely a lot of fun. It's one of the things that actually caught my, attention in this industry, because you're able to be yourself. You don't have to be so politically correct. You don't have to be so professional. You don't have to be, when it comes to dealing with the people you work with, you become a family. So, a bad word doesn't mean anything. You don't have to be oh my gosh, it's different. And going back to the story that you just said, one of the things that unfortunately a lot of kitchens don't understand, your dishwashers are they're your main people. They're the hardest working people, and unfortunately the ones that get paid the least, aside from cooks, they get paid the least. So they're not given that respect that they deserve. They're not given the respect, and it's just a shame. It's a shame because it's a lot of hard work. You're on your feet for so many hours. You're kind of, hustling the whole entire day, and it's a shame. It's a shame that a lot of kitchens don't understand that that's where everything starts. You have that foundation. Your dishwashers are your foundations. You got to treat them well. You got to respect them. Everything will work out. So
and I mean, I worked in dishwashing for a year and a half or so. I worked my ass off to get to the position I was, for somebody to knock us back down, and so it was tough. But I mean, there's a lot of good things that came with that, from making friends. There would be times where they will have a nice party and they would have kegs, and they wouldn't even finish the kegs, and they were paid for it. They're sitting back there, so we're all drinking out of the keg at the end of the night.
Have a good night, Chica.
Bye, Chica.
Bye, Chica. But we would drink out of the keg because it was there and everybody's gone. It's paid for, so we would have a good time and enjoy the night as we finish up and cleaning and doing things like that. But it was fun. It was something else for sure, and it was my first job, so I was young. I was about 17 years old or something like that, and what was going on, it tripped me out.
But with that said, also, Cesar, you got to be so careful, because that's the reason why a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of chefs in this industry get caught up in drugs, and they get, caught up in, in alcohol and all this stuff, because of the stress level that they're living, little sleep, all the hours that you're working. It's people don't really understand the stress behind the kitchen, to the point that they're easy. They go ahead and they easily judge someone, but you're not in that industry. You're not working those hours. You're not going through what they're going through. So it's a little difficult. It's a shame. It's a shame, that a lot of these great chefs, a lot of these, amazing minds, creativity, they fall into depression. They fall into all this stuff, and I just wish that we had a way to be able to kind of talk a little bit more about it, to be able to kind of prevent it, because it's hard. It's definitely hard, and people don't really see that. And you being that you work in the industry as well, you kind of know what I'm talking about. It's a shame. It's a shame. You got to kind of be very strong to be able to get away from all of that, and not fall into that kind of like world,
Yeah, and that was the first time I would see, because these plates were like real expensive plates, and I wasn't a cigar smoker at that time. And I would see these guys order a $30, $40, $50 plate, and sit there and just talk to their buddies while they're smoking a cigar. Won't even touch the plate, but use the plate as an ashtray and stick the cigar on the $50 plate. And I'm going, and they smoke maybe about half the cigar, and they're like, shh. And they would bring the plates, because I was washing dishes, and I'm seeing a full plate with this delicious, expensive food with a big old cigar right in the middle. And I had to spray that off, and I was like, oh my God, I can't stand the smell of ashes and cigar and food all at one time. I was like, oh, come on, dudes. Like, why y'all doing that? But it was a trip seeing that, man. These guys have some serious money to be able to do some stuff like that.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Just like the gentleman right next to you smoking a pappy. Just saying.
Well, that was gifted to me, and I I don't think Kevin's on anymore, but Kevin said he didn't care. It was a decent smoke. It was actually, the first half was a lot better than the second half, but I'll do a review on. I'll smoke another one and do a review on it. I was going to ask you, Jenisse, do you experience or see much sexism in the industry?
A lot of it, actually.
Really?
And maybe it's just in the locations that I personally have worked at. Maybe other women will be like, no, you're just talking shit. But personally, in the places that I've worked at, there's a lot of it. And it's ironic because usually you would think in a household, you know, it's been known that women are the ones that take care of the food and, you know, all that good stuff. But in the kitchen, it's a man's world also. So it's very hard to make yourself a name for yourself as a woman, especially people who, I think it's a little easier if you're in the baking and patisserie area, or even garnier or banquets and all that good stuff. But if it's the hotline, which is where I personally love it, I love getting, you know, with the flames, with the fire, with, you know, you know, the sweatiness, the craziness of you know, of the night. It's hard. You get these experienced, you know, cooks that they're like, oh, she's a girl, she can barely, you know, reach, because I'm 5'2", so I'm super short. So I remember that the first time that I started working in the broiler or the grill, I had to get a milk crate to be able to reach the flame because I'm short. So even with that, seeing that I'm on top of a milk crate to be able to reach it, they're like, oh, she's never going to make it. Oh, she's never going to, you know, be good.
Wow.
And you see that strong of a woman to be able to be like, you know, calm down, I got this, and, you know, step away, like I got this. So it's hard. As a woman, it's a little difficult in the industry to make a name of yourself. The same thing, I'm a little bit feminist when it comes to, you know, a cook telling me, oh, do you need me to grab this for you, or do you need me to? No, I can handle it. I can. So it's like, why, you know? And they do it in a way that's a little condescending, which is what I don't like. You know, if you're doing it legitimately, you want to help me out, that's great. But you kind of get that to just being condescending. So even more so, even if I have to get burned, I will get burned just to prove to you that I could have, you know, I could take care of it.
Right.
And yeah, you get a little bit of sexism in the kitchen, but I've noticed that even with the cigar world, it's getting better. It's getting better. You know, men are accepting the fact that we could do the same thing, sometimes even better. You know, so I'm proud of that. I'm actually proud of being one of those that have actually, you know, built myself to be able to be in that level and show a person, you know, hey, you know, you don't have to be a man or a woman. You just need that passion to be able to be where you're at. You know?
Huh. Yeah. That's I don't know. It's crazy. That in my industry, I've seen a big change from the late '90s, early 2000s when I was in the industry to now. The first place I worked at, the sort of talk that we did amongst the women and the men and stuff, and the sort of joking that we did and stuff, you would never get away with it today. I think back and I think, holy crap, I really could have gotten. I'll tell you guys a quick story. Almost got me in big trouble.
You?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to listen to it to believe it. Okay.
So we had this Asian girl that worked. She was really cool, super nice, but very. She was very. She was just very in touch with her culture and stuff, and stuff. Certain things were proper and certain things weren't proper, whatever. I left for lunch one day, and I came back to the office, and she was outside talking on her phone, and she was wearing a Gucci belt. It had the Gucci G on her belt, and as I was walking by, I said, Oh, I see your G spot.
Oh my god.
No, I was. It just kind of came out, and I walked in the door, and I just went in the thing. So I did notice, but for like a week, she didn't talk to me or anything, and then I was in. She was having problems with her computer. She called me in and stuff, and we were talking and stuff. And she said, you know, I almost went to HR about you, and I was like, why? What did I do? And she said, it was that comment you made. And I was like, what comment did I make? What are you talking about? And she said, you know, when I was on the phone and stuff, and she wouldn't even say it. And I had to remember what I said, and I was like, oh my gosh. I said I didn't mean anything by it. I'm really sorry and stuff. But anyways, everything was cool. But it was just a stupid thing that came out of my mouth. Today I'd probably totally lose my job or something. But yeah, that actually came out of my mouth.
Oh my gosh. I would have never imagined you saying something like that.
That's funny.
I'm not proud of it, trust me.
No, in this industry listen, we have filthy minds in this industry. I mean, tight kitchens, you're rubbing against each other, you're touching against, you know, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You have to have thick skin and be like, okay, he just rubbed against my butt. He just it happens.
Right.
Even with the joking, it's automatic. And Cesar will probably tell you this. You know, he's gone through it too. But in the kitchen, you just have to be mindful. I don't know why. I never got that, you know, property management, definitely not in banking, but in this industry, it's like, so to be just kind of like filthy. I don't understand any little thing that you're doing, whether it's cutting a cucumber, whether it's cutting a papaya, whether it's cutting whatever, it's like a joke to you, you know? It's just
Right.
makes it funny, and it makes it funny. And you got to be okay with that. At first, I was like, oh my gosh, what did he just say? But you kind of get used to the fact that it's the fun of being in a kitchen.
Yeah.
Huh.
The fun of being
You gotta brush it off and laugh with it and have a good time with it, because if you don't, then you're living in your own little world, and it'll never be fun. You gotta joke back the same way and have a great time about it.
See, one of the things that we mention a lot, at least me personally, that I'm at fault for it. You have to tell the person that you're, you know, close to, behind or hot, because you're holding a hot saute pan and you don't want to burn them, or you don't want, you know, any kind of like issues to happen. So you tell them hot or behind or whatever. So I run by and I'm like, hot behind, and the other person will be like, yeah, definitely, you know, like I'll be like, you know, hot stuff coming through with literally, you can stop it at hot stuff coming through, but I'll be like, hot stuff coming through with the pan. So I'm like, I'm calling myself hot stuff, you know, so stupid little, you know, things like that. It's just like, it makes it fun to be in that audience, but at the same time, it's kind of like that sexual kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's just funny. It's super funny, and
You're
it's
living on that borderline.
the borderline to being like, I'm calling HR on you, but at the same time, they're like, oh, she was joking around, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah, we would joke, we would play around. You know, we had different cultures in the kitchen. So, you know, I was the Hispanic, you know, the Mexican guy there, and then you know, my cousin. So when we were dishwashing, we'd have a radio on, and we'll be jamming to, you know, Spanish music, and you know, the cooks would pass by, and they're like, man, every time I come through here, I feel like dancing, or I feel like I need. Or they would say other jokes. They're like, I feel like I'm an illegal or something, or I just lost my green card or something, and we'll just laugh about it. And I would turn around and spray them with the water hose, you know, and they're cooking, and I'm like, spray them with the water hose. So they'll be sprayed in the back with water, and I'm like, oh, now you feel like a wetbag and stuff like that. So, you know, so I would joke with, you know, so if you want to joke with me, I'll joke with you. So, but it was just all in fun, you know?
yeah, it's so much fun. Oh my gosh, definitely a lot of fun. I love
Well,
it.
guys, we've been almost 3 hours. We gotta cut it cut it short here, but
Wow,
man,
that's
Denise,
fast.
it's been an awesome show, and I really, really thank you for being on the show. It was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. It's definitely been, I'm humbled, honestly, that you even invited me. Definitely thank you. Thank you very much, both of you.
Thank you for coming on. I told you it wasn't that bad.
No!
I told you.
Well, this helped out. No lie, that helped out.
Well, that's awesome. Guys, everyone in the chat, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight and listening to the stories and stuff. And thank you so much, Danny and Ron and everyone that pitched in some money. That was totally cool. Thank you for supporting the show. And I don't know who we're going to have next, man. We got to find a guest for the next show. But
I have an idea, so we'll talk about it whenever we get off.
Okay, cool.
Hopefully, I can get them on.
I'm honestly hoping that we can meet each other one day. I know that Cesar and I were talking about some kind of events or what have you. I mean, if we can meet up and hang out, that would be amazing as well. And if ever you find yourself here in Miami, hit me up and I got you guys. I got you guys for drinks, whatever it is that you guys want.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Jenisse.
Well,
And thank you for coming on. And it was a pleasure having you on. A lot of fun. We can still continue for another couple hours, I'm sure. We'll probably bring you on again another time.
Yes.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
All right, Jenisse, you have a good night. God bless.
You too. Bye-bye.
Everyone have a great night. God bless and thank you. And we'll see you on the next show.
Good night, guys.
Bye. Rock on.